So what are we gonna do?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. This will be fun, like I said.
All right.
Do I look okay?
You look
Do I
beautiful.
look 20 years old and
You look
blonde?
beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Then we're ready. Okay.
What is your name?
Amy Jones,
What year were you born?
1969.
Let's go. Can you confirm that you did not grow up with the internet in the house? You were fully grown before social media and all that stuff.
Yes, I can confirm that. Yes. Lord.
Where are we at right now?
We are in the North Little Rock History Commission. This is the oldest building in North Little Rock, Arkansas. It used to be the fire station, the first.
You're in the shop, love.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I forgot that camera
So you
was
can't,
there.
I'm sorry, you can't
okay.
go past this line here or you get in the shot. So I should have told you that was my fault. So like right here, see this line? Imagine that line went so weird.
Oh, it's a wide angle. I got you.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
wide angle, so you can't pass. That was my fault. I should have told you. Okay, so we're gonna start that question
Okay.
again.
Where are we at right now? We are at the North Little Rock History Heritage Center is what it's actually called. And it's where the North Little Rock History Commission is held. And this is a museum to North Little Rock, Arkansas. North Little Rock used to be called several things. It used to be called the other side of the river. It actually was at one point part of Little Rock. Then it became Argenta, Arkansas. People know that a lot. And then it became North Little Rock. So this is an old firehouse where we used to have the stables right underneath us where the horses and the buggies came in. It also was the first place that we had a sheriff's office, so we had the first cell that people were encapsulated in here at the North Little Rock History Commission. So that's where we're at.
And what do you do for a living?
I work for the state of Arkansas. I am director of capital zoning for the state of Arkansas, and we are charged with 2,500 properties around the state capitol and around the governor's mansion. And so I follow rules that are set down by the Arkansas legislative as far as historical preservation and zoning. So we are preserving Arkansas history through zoning. And because we are a state department, we actually trump all of Little Rock's zoning rules. So you buy this $1 million home next to Governor Sanders, and you think, I love this, but I'm going to put this fence up. You call me, and I said, no, you're not. That's a retaining wall that's been there since before the Civil War. You're not getting a permit to do that. But I just paid $1 million for this house. I'm sorry, that's how it goes. So, and we work with the Attorney General's office to enforce these rules. And so it is, I've done it about 4 years now. I really love it because it takes my urban planning development and experience and mixes it with Arkansas history, which is my degree. So.
We'll pause right there. Lucy, will you confirm that in this shot right here, I'm not leaning too far ahead? Do you see where
I
I'm at?
see your hand.
You just see my head. What if I'm
Yeah.
doing this? Do you see my head?
Yes, see your hand.
Is it blocking her head?
No.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, love. All right, here's the money question.
Okay.
Explain to you what we're doing, but I'm just curious, thinking about being a human. Sounds like a very simple question.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is going to become more and more confusing for some people. What is a human and what is not a human, especially as robots come in and AI, who is becoming our therapist and all that.
Yes.
So when we think about what does it mean to be a human, what you say?
Well, I'm a professional historian, so I know humans in every form, from caveman to now. And basically, we all are humans from generation to generation. We just have more at our disposal than other generations had. So to be a human means you are a mammal, of course, and you function in whatever time you're in that moment. So being a human can change in its definition through time, because being a human, 150 years ago where we sit right now meant you got into a carriage and someone took you somewhere. Now we get into a car with big screens on the front of them and they look like spaceships. But imagine if you were a human from 100 years ago, what you would think we were. So I can only imagine 100 years from now what people will think we're doing with screens and technology.
Be the best answer I've gotten so far.
because I'm a historian.
I didn't
Yeah,
even think about you being a
seriously.
historian like that.
I could write a narrative about this if you'd like me to. I mean, seriously, would you like me to do an introduction? Just give me a computer.
Well, let's think about this moment in time then, like the moment in time that you were born, that you've lived, that you've,
Mhm.
this chapter.
Mhm.
How would you define this chapter of humanity?
Well, I was born, and I'm very proud of my birthday, so let me tell you the whole thing. I was born 9/19/1969, and everybody seems to think that's really a cool birthday. But when I was born, it was before 1976, so I did go through the bicentennial of our country. I remember the bicentennial. Now we're at 250 years, 50 years later, and we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country. So when you look at that, when I remember you got into a car, you didn't have a car seat, you didn't buckle your kids in. Half the times the doors would fly open and you were going way too fast, 70, 75 miles on the highway all the time, because nobody had any regulations. And maybe we didn't have a lot of good sense. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that happen as technology progresses. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. We have put in a lot more safety features as far as cars and travel. And but we also opened up a thing, the internet. And as the internet opened, there was a learning curve in it. Like I said, or I don't know if I said, but I was actually even married with a child before the internet was a thing that I even knew what it was. And then we talked bad about it because we thought it was crazy. And we thought somebody just lost their mind and was making up stuff. So, and you had to go to dial up. And if you were going to put something in a dial up, you had to wait 10, 15 minutes before it decided to work. And so, I could have never imagined when I was a kid that we would live now and we would all carry these many computers around with us and call it a phone, because a phone is something that hangs on the wall with a big old long cord that you have to wrap around yourself 2 or 3 times to get some privacy. So I don't think kids could even imagine what we did live through. But however, I know the phones that we have now, the TVs and the cars we have now, give us another 100 years, and we will look back on them and say, how in the world did they not live with the convenience that we have? So, yeah.
We're almost done. Let's make sure you keep quiet on set. Quiet on. You're doing a great job. I know. Testing 1, 2.
I know this is really random, but you look really good when you win.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
She's my favorite in the bunch. Yeah. All right.
Last question. When was the last time that you felt human? And you can answer that however you feel.
I feel
You take
human.
this.
I feel human. Maybe because I am of a certain generation, but I feel human when I'm on the top of Mount Magazine, or when I'm looking over Pinnacle Mountain, and I see that no matter how many screens we get, no matter how much technology we get, our landscape changes very little. And as you look across these overlooks, and if you go through Arkansas, stop and admire the beauty, because you're seeing what pioneers saw. You're seeing what other people saw. You're seeing farms laid out like a patchwork quilt that looks like it did 100 years ago. So I feel like a human then, because no matter what we actually change in our day-to-day life, we're not going to change the earth, and we're not going to change the pattern and the beauty that God designed in this earth.
I'm a preacher. Last question. If you think about the next evolution of humanity and what that looks like, and I love your description. No one has explained it to me like that before. What is something you hope that next iteration of humanity doesn't lose?
Well, I feel like this generation prides themselves on being individuals, but because we are trying so hard to be an individual, maybe we are losing our actual individuality. So I would hope that the next generation knows that they don't have to look different than someone else to be who they were created to be. They don't have to have off the wall ideas that never would pan out. They don't have to have that to be who they were created to be. So I do hope that they will realize your individuality doesn't come from what you wear, what you do, what you put on your body, what you do your hair. That's not your individuality. Your individuality is when you were created by your maker as his one and only child, and how he planned your life to be.
We got a fist bump. Is that great?
Thank you. No problem.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be rude.
Testing, 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 testing,
You have to pick your nose for this part.
testing.
The other doctor's coming in soon. You're not sick. You went outside. The other doctor's coming in soon. No, I feel really sick. Keep trying it. I can tell by her symptoms. Yeah, you feel sick. I'm pregnant. I'm a handful. She's pregnant and she's giving birth. No, you're not. Let me hear. You have to pick your nose for this part. Pick your nose. Put this hand in your ear. Now let me tell you. There's a baby crying inside her stomach. How? Oh, she's giving birth. Ready? Hold on. Wait. I need to fix the crowns. She's giving birth. All right, ready? Other doctor. 1, 2, 3. Oh, your beautiful baby. Oh, she's a mouse. I don't want to be her. Can I pick my baby? This is your baby. No, I'm picking you can't pick your baby. You're birth her.
All right, you want to sit right there?
Okay.
Yeah, this is my baby.
Now you're gonna have like specific questions to ask,
Yep.
and okay.
It'll take 10 minutes or less.
Your baby's farting.
Well, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I think,
Yeah,
unless I start freezing up and acting all.
You've done it before. It'll be good. All right, girls. Y'all are my audience, and I want y'all to watch this because otherwise it will be loud. So you have to watch. You just stand right here next to Paul.
Does it take?
It's gonna take 7 minutes.
Okay.
So remember how we watched the last one?
Yeah.
You remember how? Okay, I don't want you going past there. You can do right here, and you can get any BTS like this. This would be a cool shot. I'd love for you to get like
Can I
here.
do it?
No. Here, and then kind of go like that.
Okay.
Got your phone with you?
Can I do it?
No, baby. I'm
Well,
sorry.
we can both do it.
No, it's just Lucy's. I'm sorry. Remember your security.
Yeah, but there's no pets around here.
Well, you don't know. There could be a wild animal who runs out anytime. I told her job in the crew is security. You see, you're eating donuts.
Lions and
I'm a
tigers
police
and
officer.
bears.
We need
Hey, those tigers and bears might like your donuts.
Maybe there's a bunny.
Hey, they may come up to you and say, "Hey, can I have a bite?"
Did you need me?
Yeah, I want y'all to just stay here and watch because I think it's helpful for y'all to. And then Lucy, I want you to.
Get behind.
Hey, you gotta stop eating because I'm gonna hear your munching.
Stop eating.
And then I want y'all to make sure
It's
I'm
how
not
to
in
do
the
that,
frame.
Spencer. Pay attention. Pay attention.
You stand here.
Abby, are you getting fluff everywhere
Lucy stands here.
from the bear?
Abby, you stand here. And then Molly, you can float. Okay? Be very careful with this.
I will.
Turn off this headphone so I can hear it. Okay, so that's going there. That's recording there. This is recording here. Let me get. Alright, everybody understand their assignments?
Mhm.
So we have Lucy on behind the scenes, videographer. We have Emerson security. So this shot is me. That shot is you. That shot is both of us.
Okay.
Miley's lighting and Abby's
Miley is the
audience.
intern learning filmmaking, and Abby is the producer. So if anybody acts out of order, then you fire them.
Yes.
Shh. Shh. What is your name?
Valerie Henley,
And what year were you born?
1963.
Can you confirm without a shadow of a doubt that you grew up and were fully grown before the internet came into your home?
Yes, absolutely.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I was glad that we, were able to have it, of course, but mainly just because it seems like you can't do anything in the world today hardly without, without technology, without the internet, whether it's paying bills or looking for what you want to buy, since so many things are not even in stock in the store anymore. You have to order them, and that kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, there have definitely been a lot of times when I have complained to my husband and said, I wish we could go back to earlier times when we didn't even have to really fool with the internet too much, and all the problems that it has brought. We all know that it has brought its own set of problems. So.
Please. I know, it's very hard. This is really important to me. Thank you. Okay, you're fired as producer. Okay,
I'm hired as producer.
Okay, shh. Okay, are y'all ready?
Yep.
My bad. Alright, Abby can go stand in the kitchen. Emerson, you come stand right here by that orange box. And then we're gonna do that. Okay. In your opinion, what does it mean to be a human?
What does it mean to be a human? Wow.
Oh, can you see me? Am I blocking her in that?
No.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Well, I guess in the days
Here,
before.
hold this and then pull it up to your face.
Okay. I guess in the days before so much of the technological advances that we've had that have really impacted our lives, over the last few decades, I would have said, I probably would have had a way different answer, or maybe not a way different answer, but certainly somewhat of a different answer than what I have now, because, technology really makes you think about, people and your interactions with people, that kind of thing, a lot. And I would just basically say that, what does it mean to be a human? That humans are people. Well, they're people, but I mean they have emotion, and which is something that technology, no matter what you do, it's not going to have emotion. It's not going to have that. It doesn't have feelings. It can be intelligent, certainly, and it is intelligent, but people, we have intelligence, but we also have emotion, and we have a heart that feels things, and we have a spirit man that's our real, that I believe truly is the real person on the inside, not the your physical body. But it does say in the Bible that we are created in God's image, so that's something that I to me is foundational, is that we are created in His image. And so therefore, if we were to actually ever get to see God, then He would look, I think, very much like us in general terms anyway. And so I would say that if we were definitely comparing ourselves to, let's say, robots, we definitely are always going to have the heart and the emotion and the spirit that robots and such technological beings can't have.
How do you know that that's only specific to humans? How can you be sure of that?
How can I be sure of that? Well, let's just say that I feel that's what the Holy Spirit is telling me. The Holy Spirit that I believe lives in me is telling me is that all of what I just said is true. And of course, in all honesty, and this is probably, I'm sure, true of most people, just the average person, is that it's not like I've had interactions with robots or anything like that. But, I have somewhat had some experiences with AI, that kind of thing. And I know that one thing that we were doing at one point, you and I, we were looking at some AI generated art, and no matter what you told it, it's like it could only understand certain things. It definitely had boundaries and limits and so forth, and I just think it has a lot more, in some ways, limits than humans do in certain aspects of it.
How would you feel if one of your grandkids married a robot?
I would be absolutely so frustrated and upset.
Would
You
you
know,
go to the wedding?
I'd probably
Will you
just
buy
just
your
out of love.
son-in-law a robot son-in-law gift for Christmas?
I don't know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They're saying that our kids are going to marry robots.
Wow. Okay. I would like to say yes, but not being in that situation, I mean, I don't know, but I couldn't say absolutely 100% for sure, but I would think so, just simply because I love my grandkids, and I would want to just do that as a way of showing that I love them. I may not agree with what they're doing in marrying a robot, but
Last question. When was the last time that you felt very connected to being a human?
to being a human.
Felt your own humanity?
Oh goodness.
Please.
Well, I could say that would even be today. Just getting to
Can I
laugh.
ask the question again because it was loud?
Sure.
When was the last time that you felt like you were a... Sorry. I'm begging you. Please. It's almost done. Please. When was the last time you felt connected to your own humanity?
I would say today because, and I do believe I feel it every single day with, again, is what I was saying in the beginning, emotions and just the joy of my grandkids and laughing with them, listening to them laugh, and how it makes me feel happy just to be around them and listen to them and look at their smiles and all that kind of thing. So.
Is there anything else about this topic I didn't ask you that you wanted to share?
Well, I think I would like to just say that, I was thinking today about, the evolution of just even phones. I've never in a million years would have thought that our phones would evolve like they have, and that they would become so important to us. It's just amazing to me, and how they have actually been able to become, mini computers. I think back to, the phones that we had, when I was growing up as a kid, a teenager, and really up until just 20, 30 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when that was that cell phones were coming in, but anyway, it just really floors me. I think about who would have ever thought that those kind of things would just be as profoundly important and in some ways really good ways, but in some ways very negative ways, with people sticking their face in their phone all the time, and I can be just as guilty of it. We all can, but yeah, I would say that is definitely one thing that just really continues to amaze me. But I enjoy talking with my husband about these things because, obviously he's a few years older than me, but we're basically of the same generation, and we can relate to that. So.
All right, clap it up, people. All done. Hold it again.
I fought it. So not too
No,
close.
sit up a little bit. Sit up a little bit. Lucy, sit up a little bit.
Oh.
I want to be a little bit here, but I don't want to be so far that I'm
That
hitting
you
him.
can't see his face.
So raise your hand if I do that.
Okay.
So you're in charge of this camera. Do not touch it, but you're watching. You do BTS over here,
What's BTS?
behind the scenes.
Oh.
All right.
Kelly Clarkson.
You better believe it.
Bobby's started.
I say Ellen.
Did I press start? Mommy,
I love Ellen. Huh?
did I press start?
No swinging because I don't want to hit the camera. Oh, is it not started?
No.
You are so good.
Ready?
Job. Yeah. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Okay, do you see mommy in the shot?
Yep.
But I'm not touching him.
So,
Testing 1, 2. Yes.
are you supposed to have like your head not in him or your hand not in him?
Neither one. I don't want anything touching his face. So I probably need to keep my hands like this, huh? What if I do this?
That's good.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Tommy,
What year were you born?
1963.
Can you confirm without a shadow of a doubt that actually, let's start this over again because there's a wine glass. Hello.
Hello.
What year were you born?
1963.
What's your name?
Tommy.
Can you confirm without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, that you were fully grown before you had access to the internet in your house?
Oh, definitely, yes. Fully grown and then some.
And then some. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it was probably better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come?
Because I wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff that children are exposed to today, and you had to think, and not that children don't think, but you had to get out and your encyclopedias, you had to go to the library, you had to dig up and research and things like that, where everything's at your thumbs or your voice command. Hey Siri, what was this? Or hey Siri, what happened here? Or hey Google.
Stop swinging. Why is that important?
Because it teaches a person how to find things out on their own. You know, I think it improves your, what's the word I'm probably looking for? Not necessarily, probably your drive.
So this whole series is about, I genuinely believe from the bottom of my heart that in the next 50 years, there will be people walking among us that we don't know are humans or not humans. And the younger generation will question what is a human and what isn't a human because they grew up with that. Some people are human, some people aren't. So the purpose of this series is to talk to folks who grew up without technology to get their take on what it means to be a human being. So if I were to ask you, what does it mean to be a human? What would you say?
Well, on the thing that you just said about people walking among us, you know, that looks like humans but aren't actually humans, but we can't tell them apart, we already know they're robots. So it probably, with that thought in their mind, being a human, thinking of that line, maybe years from then, it would probably be self-thinkers. You know, someone that thinks on their own, where all the stuff that these so-called humans, robots that look like humans, they're already programmed. You know, it's like some type of program that's learned into them. You know, it's not like a human brain where we have to, I can't read something one or two times and pick it up and know it, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, where a program, you can tell it and it's not going to forget it. And it's going to pick up all the little details around it.
Red, is that still red?
Mhm.
It still look clear and good?
Mhm.
Is mommy in frame?
Yeah. Mhm.
But not hitting him?
Yeah.
Good. What is it about thinking for yourself that makes you human?
Thinking for yourself, because you're not, it's like let's take children, for instance, okay? You tell the children what to do, how to do, when to do, and where to do. When you become adult, you need to be able to think how to do, when to do, and where to do on your own without taking yourself down the wrong path or getting yourself or your family members in trouble. So if you're able to think for yourself, you're able to analyze, I guess, the right and wrong decision. You know, sometimes a program may tell you something that, hey, this is performed this way, but they don't see the dangers that lies behind the scene if you perform it that way, because it may not say, you know, hey, if you do this, this may happen. They're just looking for the logical conclusion, logical way of doing something.
Have you gotten any behind the scenes? Can you?
Sorry.
That's okay. Try to stand back there and get all three cameras. That would be cool.
That's what I did. Later, I did this, and then that's what I did.
Yeah, that's good. Hi, Abby. In your opinion, no, wrong thing. When was the last time that you felt really human?
I felt really human. Oh, wow.
Felt your humanity.
Probably the past couple of years when I've been sick, you know. Sometimes it's really, really sick, not knowing if I'm going to make it or want to make it, you know. Because then you realize your vulnerability, you know. And to be a human, you're vulnerable. Where computers and robots, they're not very vulnerable, unless they don't feel vulnerable. You know, if you're healthy and you're strong and life is good and everything's going your way, you know, it's perfect, it's wonderful. But And when there's times in your life where you're like I was, like really sick, going through surgeries and things, or your life is in the hands of a judge or something like that, but you're doing something you did that now you can't control, your life is controlled by them, you feel human because you're out of control, You have no control of what's going on around you.
Is there anything about this topic that you want to share that you think is important, maybe for future generations to know about humanity and just the really interesting time we're coming into?
Well,
No pressure.
no pressure. That's a kind of a loaded question because it depends on where you're at and what side of the world you're on and things like that. What it really means. I mean, I think the best thing to be as far as being a human is caring, caring for others and how they feel, and what you say to people, how you treat people, because that's going to matter down the line, especially in years to come. It's like I heard this quote one time. We were just talking about this, and I love quotes. It said, "Never judge someone's book by the chapter you walked in on." Because you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what they've been through or what they, we see people all the time. We think, oh man, that person's got a terrible attitude. That person's rude. Or we don't know. That person could have just lost their husband or their wife, or, we don't know what hurt that person's going through. And we should love that person just like we love our family. I love our kids, our grandkids, and things. So as far as years are coming up, the world's changing. The world's not like it was when I was a kid. There's diversity everywhere. There's division everywhere. There's things that's in my life right now that I don't agree with and that I don't support and stuff like that. But I'm not going to tell that person that, hey, I don't agree with you. I don't, they know what I don't agree with as far as the beliefs go. But I'm not going to say you're terrible or you're wrong or make a person feel bad, for what they believe in or who they are or what they are, just because they believe that way. Because I believe certain ways, that people don't agree with. It's like, certain ways I vote, certain ways I vote on people's and the political parties that I vote for. I'm not going to say just because you don't line up with the way I vote and the way I believe that you're not worthy of my time. I mean, we should love everyone. I mean, the Bible even talks about, and I don't want to get spiritual in it, I'm not going to bring this into it, but it talks about we can do all these great things, we can do this and we can do that for other people, but if we don't have love, we don't have anything. Mm-hmm. So the greatest is just love one another, love people, and try to understand where they're coming from. So I guess understanding and loving people going forward would be great.
Either one of you girls have a question for Grandpa? You don't have to, but if you have anything. What's one thing that you learned from what Grandpa just said?
I've never heard that quote before. Never judge someone's book based on their childhood.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Say, what does it mean?
It means never judge someone for how they're acting because you don't know what they're going through.
Right.
Was something you learned from what Grandpa shared, Emerson?
I heard like caring and stuff like that, and I think it's very different, and because people have different opinions, and
So just because people have different opinions don't mean that you don't treat them with respect and honor. They're a human being and deserve that.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't do the thing. Hold on, are we still recording? We're still recording. You gotta do the fist bump. Good. I did a fist bump.
So is it?
That's
Can I
it.
stop?
That is a very interesting question. I've never even thought about that. I don't know why I haven't. I guess there's just really never been a reason to, but that's getting a behind the scenes shot. That's
You're taking pictures too?
well, I do behind the scenes. I'm doing a whole folder. I won't post them online. They're just for me.
I'm just giving you a bad time.
All right, Lulu, if you don't mind, thank you for helping me. If you don't mind, just make sure I'm in the frame again like normal.
Okay.
And then we'll do this here. So I'll be recording. Actually, let me. I want to delete a couple of videos to make sure I have enough. Or did I already do that? Looks like I did it. Good. I always get worried I'll be in the middle of recording and it will be,
It'll poop out on you?
yeah. Storage. Okay, sweet.
Did you take advantage of Prime Days?
Well, we were traveling, so not really, but I guarantee you Brian did. That man is he is an Amazoner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lulu. Actually, this camera got bumped a little.
I didn't touch it.
Can't wait for that to be in the recording. All right, sweet. So, Lou, if you'll just kind of see where I'm at as far as right here,
Okay.
that it works in your opinion. So I want to see kind of like I did with Amy
Yeah, it works.
yesterday. So she's primary
Yep.
focus. Okay, sweet. Okay.
I can
so-
barely even see your nose.
Okay, perfect. Good. Testing 1, 2. Testing, testing. Mic's not working. Let's get the mic on. 1, 2. Testing, testing, testing. Perfect. So recording. Is the red light there?
Yep.
Excellent. Red light's there. Man. Here we go. One day I will have a crew and I will just interview people.
Mm-hmm.
What is your name?
My name is Sue Worsham,
What year were you born?
1964.
Can you confirm with me without a shadow of a doubt that you 100% were grown before the internet came into your house?
Oh, yes. Never had any internet at our house.
How do you feel about that?
I'm happy about it. I had 3 siblings, and we were always doing something. Playing Monopoly for 3 days in the wintertime, sledding, riding bikes in the summertime. We were always doing.
What did you do for a living that kind of helps us understand your perspective?
For a living, I was in the field of rehabilitation for the blind, and I've done several things in that field. I've been a rehabilitation teacher, a children's specialist, and an orientation and mobility instructor.
Now, you know the topic. We are looking at just the topic of humanity, and it seems like a very simple question, like what does it mean to be a human? But it's interesting to me that usually people pause a little bit because we've never really had to think about what it means to be a human because we were always just human and there were other humans, but now there's other things going on in the world and even our own humanity is changing, and so I wanted to ask this generation, what does it mean to be a human? And so what say you?
What say me? To be a human means that you have a soul. You know the difference between right and wrong. And you have emotions. And sorry, I didn't eat breakfast. I'm sorry. And you need socialization. I think that's what it means to me to be a human.
How do you know that's what it means to be a human?
Well, because if you look around at animals and plants and things like that, animals have emotions, but they don't have a soul. And plants, although they're beautiful, they don't have emotions or a soul or need socialization. They need light and water and oxygen and CO2 to live. That's all they need. They don't care.
If you don't mind, don't go in front of the light because it shifts the light off of our face. No big deal. Thank you. All right. When was the last time that you felt your own humanity?
Probably when my husband had surgery. I definitely knew that I was concerned and anxious, and wow. I knew how fleeting life could be. And this human needs her man.
Is there anything about this topic that you think is really important that you want to share? Maybe thinking about future generations, or just thinking about preserving the idea of what it means to be a human that maybe I didn't ask you.
With all the AI out there, and I'm not totally opposed to AI. I have a pair of glasses that are AI, and they're very helpful. I like them. But what we need as far as humanity, we need that interaction. We don't just need cut and dry answers. We need to know, you can tell me these two colors match, but I need to know, is that a good color for me? You need that human, you need the emotional side of it, the opinions. Those things are so important as we grow technologically, and that's from somebody in the social sciences background. So, because it matters how you feel, how a person feels and thinks and interprets matters, if that makes any sense at all.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how amazing is your bonus daughter, Heather?
20.
All right, I did a fist bump at the end. You gotta give me a fist bump. There we go. Thank you.
Rock and roll.
That's it. That was excellent. How you
Thank
feel?
I
Shot, and then this is another angle and kind of a backup. I'm sorry.
This is alive and that's a dead.
Oh, wide shot. And then I'm gonna move this here. And we're just gonna get kind of another angle just to be on the safe side, because every once in a while you need a backup just in case. And this right here, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, recording.
Do I look
This
at
isn't
you
recording.
or?
Yep, you'll look at
Can
me.
I do the video thing where I want the phone to do like that or something?
Lucy can give you a chance to do that if you'd like. But just remember how yesterday we want to keep it very quiet so we can stay focused. And that's recording there, Lou, right?
Yep.
The red dot?
Yep.
And am I out of frame where you can see her?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for doing this. What is your name?
Karen Herrera,
And what year were you born?
May 7th, 1943.
Can you guarantee me, promise me, that you did not grow up without the internet? You did grow up without the internet, no computer in your home, no social media. You grew up, was a grown adult before being exposed to this stuff.
Definitely nothing in my home that resembled it. In fact, I remember when we got the first TV. So, yeah, it was an exciting time, but none of the technology.
Exciting. What made it exciting?
Well, you just never knew what was going to happen during the day. You could go out and explore, and you could be with your friends and be so active and have so much fun. And it was a safe time. I grew up in a small town, and so I could get on my bike and ride over to my friend's house and spend the day, or just we would be creative.
Okay.
And I think that's what was so fun, because you never quite knew what was going to happen that day.
So it's interesting because, hey, loves, I love you so much.
when you move on the couch, I can hear that. So if we can be as still as possible and not move around, okay? Thank you. It's interesting because you think about more people thinking like more stuff, more technology, more access, more communication, but you're saying like less was exciting, or am I misunderstanding
It
that?
was. It was just a good time to grow up. I grew up in the late 40s after the war, and and in the 50s. And so people were just happy to be home, have a job, have family, and we would play outside. Neighbors would come over, friends would come over, and we'd just play outside till way after dark. And parents would sit around and just talk. And it was exciting in that you got to know people. You really knew your friends. And we would just do whatever came to our minds. And it might be up in the woods out back of our farm. And we had creative buildings out there by wood, and we just did a lot of exciting things. And I just I feel sorry for kids today that don't have that freedom to just invent things and be creative in their own selves.
Where did you grow up? What state?
I grew up in Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, cool. So I shared with you earlier, the idea with this project is there is I would argue, thinning line with us really understanding what it means to be a human, because the digital world is becoming so real that sometimes we can kind of blur the lines between what is real human connection, what's not. And it looks like it's moving towards where it's going to blur the line between who's a real flesh human being or not. And we're already seeing that with like communication with AI and so forth. So this whole series is about understanding what it really means to be a human and getting the perspective of those who fully grew up without having to be exposed to that. So if I say to you, what does it mean to be a human? What comes up for you?
Well, I think for me, to be human is to have a true connection with people, where you look them in the eye, where you talk to them, where you care about them, where you really want to know what's going on in their lives. And I know today our family gets together and you look around the room and 4, 5, 6 people are on their phones, either playing games or answering emails or doing something. And that disturbs me sometimes, because here I am, talk to me, engage with me, find out what's going on. And I want to know what's going on in your world too. But so often you just don't get that these days.
When was the last time you felt particularly human?
Probably when I was having my children, when they were little, and we still didn't have technology. And so, that closeness and that bond was so important. And we did so many things together, just going out to the park or going to the lake or doing something. But I remember my family, my parents worked very, very hard. They had a hatchery and they worked long hours. But at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, my mom would say, "Okay, we're going." And we'd pack up a supper and we'd take off and go to the lake and get on our pontoon boat, go out, take a swim, eat supper, and have that quality family time. Then they'd come back and they'd go to work. But we knew that was an exciting thing. And I look back on those times and I wish my grandchildren, great-grandchildren had those special times.
Now, to understand a little bit about your worldview, do you mind sharing like what you did for a living and just kind of your experience in the workplace?
Well, I'm a registered nurse, and in my earlier years, I was mostly pediatrics and NICU care, and then I worked in the school corporations for about 16 years with children with special needs, and then at 60, I retired. I took early retirement, and left the real world and went into the real world, the whole world. And I became a medical missionary and traveled all over the world, did international medical missions, and just got to know so many cultures and so many different people.
Where'd you go?
I went all over the world.
Literally all over.
All over the world. I've been on all continents except Antarctica, and I don't think they needed Jesus or my medical care, so I didn't get there. But all of the other continents, did a lot of work in Nigeria, and did a lot of work in Mongolia. So I've two totally different cultures, and the interesting part is I started traveling with this organization in '92, but it took 10 years later until I came full time. But what I noticed is that almost everybody has a cell phone now,
Yeah.
all over the
All over
world.
the world.
And I feel that the world is no longer round, it's flat, because everybody's seeing what's going on no matter where you're at now. But what are they seeing? They're seeing probably the bad things about the U.S., or we're seeing the bad things about that's going on in, say, Nigeria or somewhere like that. And it's really not true. Once you get there on the ground, it's going on, but that's not the massive part of what's going on for those people. So I'm concerned that with technology, they're getting the wrong idea about what's going on in our country or other countries. And it's biasing people toward other cultures.
With the last question, with all your vast amount of experience, obviously growing up in a completely different world than what is going on right now, and then traveling all over the world, and you've also sat with people in like their hardest moments and seen like thin veil between life and death.
Yes.
Y'all are doing it awesome. I love y'all. What is something around the topic of humanity that you think is important for that generation to hold on to and know?
I think one of the things I really like to say is that remember the things of the past. Remember your past because they're good and the memories are precious. And also look forward to what the promise of the future is. But most of all, be present in the today because it's precious. And you're never sure of what tomorrow holds, and you can't live in the past. So be engaged with people, with the environment, with your life right now.
Do you girls have any questions that you would like to ask?
What was one of your favorite memories?
One of my favorite moments.
Memories.
Memories. Oh, goodness. Give me a minute for that one. I guess one of my favorite moments, I was in Nigeria, and the lady I worked with was the national leader of the Church for Compassion Ministries, and she had two little boys. They were about 8 and 6 at the time. And we were sitting in the car waiting for her, and they had never seen a white woman before and never had the opportunity to just talk to a white woman before. And their questions were so funny, and I tease them to this day but, why is your hair like that and ours is like this? And do you put something on your lips to make them look that color, or are they just naturally that color? And I tried to explain to them the concept of a light, a traffic light. If you have a red, you stop, green, you go. Is there a policeman on every corner? No. Then why do you stop?
That's cute.
Why do you stop? Because in their culture, you would not stop.
Right.
But they could not understand how we just stop at red lights. And I've loved them to they're like my grandkids, and they're grown now and have kids of their own. But
That's cool. You stayed in touch with them.
oh yes, their mom was just here in November with me. So yeah,
So I do a fist bump at every end. Boom. Thank you.
you're
This was
welcome.
awesome. You do have a question, yes.
How many kids do you have? What are their names and how old are they?
Here, I won't get this on recording because for your privacy, but yeah, go ahead.
What was it?
What are your kids' names?
What am I?
Age and
She wants your kids' names and ages.
Oh goodness. Okay, my oldest daughter is Heidi,
okay.
and she will be 60 in August. 60 years old. And then my other daughter is Kelly, and she's 50.
Okay, so I'm recording that. So yeah, so I'll ask what year you were born. I'm going to ask you to confirm that you did not grow up with the internet. And then I'm going to ask you what it means to be a human. And then I usually have one or two, follow-up questions from there.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I want to double check. That's recording. Testing 1, 2. That's recording. And then double check.
You're going to turn around eventually and be looking at Heather while she's talking.
Sorry, Sue.
You're all right.
I'm just going to make sure this is crystal clear. Good. I really like this frame. This looks really nice. This looks good.
Okay.
Looks really good. Are you ready? You have any questions?
I don't think so.
You should be very nervous.
I'm not.
Okay, well, you should be. I'm just joking. All right. What's your name?
My name is Melita Waters.
Okay. What year were you born?
In 1947,
Can you confirm without a shadow of a doubt promise that you did not grow up with the internet technology in the home until you were grown?
I can absolutely confirm that. It didn't even exist then.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you wish you would have had access to it, or how do you feel about it?
I can't really say that I wish I'd had access to it, but I wish that when I finally got access to it, which was, I was close to retirement, I wish I'd had more training in it and learned how to use it better, because my brain's not the kind of brain that is comfortable with the internet.
Okay.
I'm always going to one friend or another and say, help,
Right.
because I don't know how. And my husband used to say to me, because I get up to a point and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, so I'd freeze.
Oh, okay.
And Dave would say to me, honey, do something, anything, just something. You're not going to break it. And I still don't believe that, even though I know better. I mean, he'd walk me through it and he'd bail me out, but I'm still not completely comfortable with it. And with the accessible technology that exists today, while it's a world better than the early stuff, it's still not good enough to make it as though I'm not depending on it.
Do you feel like the dependency bother you or worry you?
Well, yes, kind of. If it gets too far along, well, it might get far enough along eventually, but if I'm depending on it, I depend on it because I really need to know that information. There was a good while, I guess a couple months ago, there was a stretch of time when Amazon was down. I think it was like 72 hours. And I still had access to the internet and a couple of the lists that I'm on. And one of the ones on the posts that came across was from this gentleman, and he was absolutely beside himself. How was he going to cook? Because he had an air fryer that was Alexa enabled.
Yep.
Otherwise, it was all touch screen, and it might as well have been in somebody else's house for all the good it did him.
Yeah.
And that frightens me, that that we're going to be at a point where I won't be able to access the things that I can access now. Now, I'm also aware that there's going to come a time when it won't matter. It will be completely accessible, and everybody will be using all of it the same way, no matter whether there's a disability or not. They'll figure out a way that the computer and AI and all that can take care of that. Step in and do the job.
Yep, you are right. And with that being said, if you think about what you and I were just talking about a moment ago, this thinning line between where humans stop and technology begins, it was like, it was a product for a very long time that we engaged with, a tool that we engaged with, and now it's merging into like, people are questioning the consciousness of AI and, thinking about relationships, and people have predicted that one day my kids might marry a AI robot and so forth. Like it's wild to think about how that evolves. So leading into this project, when we think about what it means to be a human, in your perception, what does it mean to be a human?
Well, sentience comes into question. And even though, not just what does it mean to be human, but what does it mean to be alive? Because robots aren't. But if you have any dealings with them and you're using any kind of an AI, you do ask questions of the AI that you would ask a friend. And get similar kinds of answers. So you wonder, how does that work? I don't understand AI. I don't much like it while I use it, and I'll probably continue to use it more and more.
Right.
And what does it mean to be human? It's kind of hard to say. To be human means to be alive, to be cognizant of the world we live in. Most of the time, AI is supposed to be that. It's mind-boggling is what it is.
Yeah. When was the last time you felt your own humanity?
When I gave my friend her birthday present the other day. She was so appreciative, and I felt a warmth from her, and I felt like the warmth was reaching out to her, and that was part of what makes me human, is that I can feel.
Is there something important to you about preserving an element of humanity? Is there an element of humanity that's important to you? That's a better way of putting it. If you think about, God willing, 50 years from now, somebody watching this, these kids thinking about imparting something to them about what it means to be a human, and anything we need to preserve now. Maybe not. Maybe there isn't anything to preserve, and maybe we're getting better. But what is there any final thoughts on that you would want to pass down to this next generation?
To believe in yourself and know that you can make the right kinds of decisions for people, for other people. They may not have an effect on a representative of the AI world, but we need to be able to remember that we can feel and love. And I don't think AI will ever be able to love.
Perfect. That's a wrap. How you feel?
Like it's done?
That's it. That's it. That's literally it. Yeah, it is super simple. Super simple. You did great.
You did great, and do you,
You
think
did
about
wonderful.
Star Trek and I think it's The Next Generation, Geordi?
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know what that is. I'm going to put
It's No, Jordy was in the Next Generation, and he was a blind guy. And
Oh,
he-
that's not who I was even thinking of.
Oh.
I forgot that is Jordy.
Oh, I know who you were thinking of. Data.
Yes, Data.
The computer. He was
Star
all
Trek?
silver.
Yeah,
Okay.
He was a robot.
yeah.
Interesting.
He was AI.
I've never seen Star Trek.
Well, if
Wow.
you're going to do this, you must.
How have you not seen Star Trek?
I've
Maybe
never
we
ever
lied,
seen
Sue. We have been exposed.
Maybe. And let's not forget Mr. Spock.
Well, yeah, but he
wasn't human either. He was Vulcan.
extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
it. So the show was a mixture of humans and robots?
Well, there was one robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, in one of them there was.
Testing 1, 2, testing. And then
That one.
I need to record here. No,
I don't want to chase an owl down.
There aren't any owls here today. They're very rare.
Why wouldn't you want to chase an owl down? Sounds like a good tone.
Actually, they just sit there and they turn their head almost all the way around. You're like, do you have a neck? Yes. Well, how can you do that? They just spin their head.
They just. Ow, that hurt.
This shot right here looks so good.
I know.
I'm gonna actually get a couple of pictures of you right there. You don't even have to look at me, but I think you'll like these. I'll send them to you.
Wait.
Yeah, you'll love those. Those are really pretty. That's cool. Look at that.
Here's
That's nice.
All right, monkey girl, y'all ready?
Now, I sent you
Lucy.
that article last night.
I've read that article before.
You have. It's
Yeah.
from this magazine.
No way. That's so cool.
35 cents. 1963.
I didn't know. I haven't seen that. I've read the article before.
I sent it to you before, I
Yeah,
guess. And then
yeah.
this is the actual New England Journal of Medicine article, if you want a copy of that.
Oh, I'd
That's-
love that.
That's the surgeon's writing. It was written in, it's published in AJM.
I would love that. That's really cool.
That's for
Thank
you.
you.
Even if there's something you want to take from it.
I want you to stay here because I want y'all to learn how to do this, and this is important.
Told by a surgeon who read that, who does aortic valve replacement surgeries, the most in Florida. At an event, I was speaking with a dear friend. He said, he read the article and he said, if they didn't do anything, she would have died. If they did something, she had a 10% chance of surviving. So, you asked me about what we're going to talk about here. That's it. That's the answer right there.
Perfect. Testing 1, 2. Bruce, what year were you born?
1961.
Okay. Can you confirm that you grew up without the internet? No social media, no Google, nothing until you were grown.
100%. All we had was maybe an AM radio, right?
Are you glad about that?
Back then, I didn't know any different. Could I go, if I could go back to that, would I? There's times I'd say yes.
All right, here is the big question. What does it mean to be a human?
Well, as I was raised,
Actually, people can be like this. Because it makes sense, because if I was right here and you were looking at me.
yeah, so we're looking right here, okay. So to me, and there's an awful lot we could talk about my upbringing, but number one, I would say, is gratitude. Living in gratitude enables you to, I think, live a fulfilled human life. Gratitude, grateful for everything. Even sometimes when we're going through challenges, there's got to be something we come through that at the back end of that, we're going to be grateful that we learned something from that experience. Now, that doesn't mean we're happy that we had the challenge or the job loss or the relationship that blew up or whatever, but finding gratitude in life, to me, is the fuel.
How do you know that's what it means to be a human?
That's how I try to live. I've found that living in gratitude has done so much to bring joy in my life. And I define that a couple of different ways. We don't have to enjoy, E-N-J-O-Y. But if we can find a way to live in joy, INJOY, then that just gives us a level of expectation of possibilities.
When was the last time you felt human? Really felt human?
Father's Day, this weekend. Both of my daughters here, a great meal, just time together. They're older now, so the relationship was an amazing exchange, and it was in the moment. And I think anytime I can find being in the moment, like enjoying where I am in that moment, that's where I feel the most human, with an interaction, eye contact. Tell me about your day. Happy Tuesday, not how you doing. Just really stepping out to engage is when I feel the most human.
Now there's some stuff you wanted to share a little bit about your experience with humanity and what it means to be a human, and the floor is yours for that.
Wow. Well,
Now I'm going to move here, and
Okay.
I want you to look right here.
okay.
And just make sure you keep the mic kind of
Up here? Okay, all right. Well, Heather, we've known each other a while, and you know that I see things in this unique way of looking at words. And when I think of human, I think one of the key parts of a human being is being human. So you might ask me what that means. And I did take a moment and I wrote what that means to me, just using a letter. So it's a crazy way that I look at words, and I'll read it to you here. So to me, human, I just write the word vertically. And what did it mean to me? And I just used the letters of the word to define that. Human, being, equals being human. The U is understand first to be understood. Listen to understand, not listening to respond, or to make my argument that's opposite of yours. The more I can learn about you, the more I can understand about what it means to be human and have a real relationship. I think that's one of the things that the technology we're talking about has put a barrier up there. I don't have to talk to you if I don't want to. I can go and be on a one-sided screen and learn whatever I want, but I won't learn anything about you. So understand to be understood. The M is making service part of the mission. I talked about that, whether it's fitness, whether it's doing something for the community, some goal that you have. You know, if say you want to get better and get healthier, and you're going to walk, maybe do a 5K, well, take an empty trash bag with you and pick up something along the way so you're making service part of that mission that you have. The A, and I think this is really important, is a Sherpa's mindset always. So what does that mean? To me, that means if I can help you climb the mountain and not make it about me, that's a part of being human. Because the gratitude, selflessness, that's important because we climb so much. But if we can help others climb and really make that part of our day and part of our life, the impact we can make is part of being human. And then the N in human is nurture the next while we manage the now. So what does that mean? It's kind of wordy, but what I mean by that is if we are thinking about how we can help someone get somewhere else, how we can achieve and reach for our goals while we're managing what we have to get done today, then that also, I think, just weaves in being human. That's how I define it.
Is there anything else you wanted me to ask you or share before we end this?
Yeah, there's one other thing. Joy is a great word, and everybody wants to enjoy life. It's the soccer tournament, it's the event you wanted to go to, it's that concert. But what about the stuff that isn't all of that joy, and there are things that are challenging, right? There are things that are holding us back, or a place we want to get to, but we're struggling to get there. Instead of living to enjoy everything, if we can find in everything we're doing a way to live in joy, that helps us on our trajectory as well.
What do you girls think? Can you snap it out? Snap it out? That's perfect. That's it.
You make it easy. And I know you guys got to run, but you know so much has changed in my life since we met with the acting stuff, with the improv comedy, and all that.
Because this shot right here is going to be the money shot. This is the money shot. This looks really good. Do I take pictures? Yeah, take some behind the scenes pictures. And if you're ready to rock and roll, rock and roll.
Just but he can't see well and he can't hear, so if he comes close, he might be bumping into something, and just kind of push him aside so he doesn't bump.
One of our friends had a blind puppy, so that was
He's so old, poor guy. He's almost 17. My last one was 14. He died. So I mean, he made it a long time,
I'm sure baby.
but he just
What's his name?
buddy
Hey, Bodie.
kid moved him.
What puppy? No, Jamie and Jonah have one. I said our friends have one. Hey, you're totally cool sitting there. Just be mindful that if you hit one of these, this thing's gonna topple. Okay, so just be very still. And then Lucy, if you'll come on this side, yeah, no, don't trust. You sit right here. These are recording here. We're recording there, and we are recording. Okay. I'm sorry to like girl crush on you so much, but I was like, you look so buff in these. Oh, this is my goal to be like her. Oh my god.
Lots of workouts. Lots of workouts. I'm
It's
starting
like
to train
that.
again.
Like
Hybrid.
I might hit you up because I need a female trainer. I had a trainer a couple years ago, but she was 20 and she had never had kids,
I'm telling you.
and it was different. And she did a great job, but
They just can't really. That's actually my target. Like I'm picking back up. I was a personal trainer for
Yeah.
20 years, right? And then I had kids and all that was on bed rest, so I kind of stopped. But I kept all the certifications. I have a menopause specialist. I have like 12 certifications. So fitness is my thing.
I would really
And
like
I'm
to talk to you then.
Targeting 40 and
I turned
over.
40 this year, so it's in like 2 months. That's perfect.
You look like you're 20. Oh my gosh.
Still 20, but okay.
Come on, don't say that.
I feel like I'm 12.
Yes, you are.
That's right. That's
Why
not
don't you feel 20? What's wrong?
I don't know, I mean, if I'm around 20-year-olds, I think, and I don't mean it like in a derogatory way, but it's just like 20-year-olds, they're just like, I don't know if I want to be 20.
Right. No,
You see
me
what I'm
neither.
saying?
Yeah, no.
All right. What is your name?
Maggie Hudson,
What year were you born?
1963.
So can you confirm that you grew up without the internet, without social media, and that your brain was fully developed before tech got a hold of you?
Definitely.
Are you glad about that?
Yes, 100%. Because I had more contact with people and grew up running around outside and talking to people and not be judged so much on social media. People just say things that they would never say in my face. And so I just like that I had all the contact and friends and running around and actually meeting face to face.
Let me check this camera. Totally cool. It doesn't matter. It's
She's, I know I'm her mom. I know I'm her mom, so of course, but I'm just so freaking proud of her.
No,
and
I'm really impressed with both of you little girls and what I see with them on Facebook.
testing 1, 2, testing. That looks great.
You're not homeschooling them, are you?
No. I think I told you I was homeschooled. I had just such a really bad experience with that. I know there was a lot of good homeschool families, but it just put so much bitterness in my mouth for it. I hated being at home.
Well, let me take something off your chest. I mean, my mind, of course, I was lower middle class, so we were in a cement block house out in the country and stuff. But one thing I grew up knowing, my mother was like manic depressive, and my father was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And one thing that really stuck in my mind, I realized even as a child, is we entrust probably the most important job it is to the least qualified people to do it. You know, and there's not a real alternative to that, but it's part of growing up is realizing what you're dealing with, trying to navigate it, and trying to, and you love them regardless of all the problems they may have. You love them, and but you can't let them blindly lead. I mean, you've got to take, at a very early age. My brother and I he was a year older than me, and he was even more rebellious than me, and we just decided that, let's make this work out the best for everybody that we possibly can, but it's our responsibility when it comes down to it. I don't blame anything in my adulthood on my parents. I knew what I was dealing with from a very early age. Does that make sense?
That's maturity.
Yeah.
That's a mature way of looking at it.
But I didn't know anybody who wasn't. I didn't know anybody personally when I was growing up who had the Leave It to Beaver family. Nobody
Yeah.
had a perfect
If it
situation.
seems that way, there's always some
We're not on
other.
the air, are we?
We are on video, but obviously I won't.
No, that's fine.
I just want to make sure we're recording. Okay. So, what's your name?
Charlie Branson,
What year were you born?
1950.
Can you swear that you did not grow up with the internet on the house? Can you promise me that?
Yeah. Well, I was the first generation that had open access to television. I mean, when I was 4 or 5, they had Howdy Doody on and all that type of thing. You know, it was just getting where most families could afford to have a black and white TV.
Were people's responses to television back then as like apprehensive and concerned as families today are with like AI and tech and all of that? Did they have that same worry about a TV coming into the home?
Yeah, certainly there was a lot of conversation about people wasting their time in front of television, just like there's plenty of conversations about people not being able to be torn away from their cell phone or so forth. And to a very, very incredibly lesser extent, it was a open source of information when there wasn't a whole lot of other information easily available. But I remember how excited I was when the first Novas came on television with PBS, because it was actually a scientific show that was just about not entertaining you with silly comedy. And you know, there were certainly wonderful dramas you'd see on TV, but just having a show about science, and I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. Now I don't like Nova at all, but simply because it's more about how something's discovered than what the facts are out there and what they discovered. You know, I was an English major, and I always understood from my favorite all-time professor that English and history majors in college are people that want to know as much as possible about as many things as possible, but they don't want to dive into one thing and not come out for months.
Do you have any feelings about not growing up with the internet? Are you glad? Are you neutral? Are you wish you would have had that in the home?
I would have totally loved it. I was.
You're the only person who has said you would have loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we lived down in the country, and south of Charleston on one of the Sea Islands. And I mean, my whole school, of course, it was a segregated school when I was in grammar school, and going in, and it wasn't integrated till I was in the 10th grade. So we had far more black people on that island than we had white people. But our whole student body from K through 12 was like less than 200 people. So it wasn't a lot of people. It was you couldn't get to a library or anything like that unless your dad threw you in the car and drove you to town or whatever. So that wasn't there. We had a Funk and Wagnall salesman come by and give us the letter A as a token gift to get us hooked on buying an encyclopedia, which we couldn't afford. But I can tell you, I learned more about Major Anderson at Fort Sumter and aardvarks and anything under the letter A than I would have loved just to have had an encyclopedia. And I went on to, not that there was a lot of competition, but I've always been very interested in knowledge and learning and so forth. And I went on to become valedictorian of my high school, and won a scholarship to the local college, and went through the honors program and everything. So, and went on to graduate school. I would have. All kids look forward to summer vacation. You know, that you're free, you can go do crazy things and so forth. And I would be like that for about 3 weeks, and then I'd go, oh man, I just want to get a hold of the new textbooks and find out what I want to learn next year and everything else.
Right.
And so I was really dramatically aware of not having access to information. So I'm somewhat disappointed, not at all surprised, that with just this incredible access of information with the internet and everything else that's out there now, that most people seem to just use it for entertainment.
Yeah.
And don't use it to access information. But you could take a similar transitional situation throughout history, and where information becomes more available, and that's happened time after time in waves, like the first printing press, or the first, me having access to television and the internet coming along, and there were many other things that. It's a very small minority of the people that are going to get most excited about just the information availability.
Right. Here's the big question. In your opinion, what does it mean to be a human?
I've been thinking about that and trying to understand exactly what your perspective in answering that question was. But to me, I've always considered myself a bit of an existentialist. So I believe that the challenge in our lives is to try to understand what our responsibility is, to try to find in ourselves what our role as human beings are. So that would be being human, and to exercise our free will to do that. To me, the most important thing when I die is for those, and I understand you have at least 7 minutes of thoughts when you know you're passing away, is to not have a wholly negative view of how I spent my life and what I did with it. And I think to me, it's the most important thing in life, is to in your heart of hearts, and if you're religious, then God is within, and that's what's there that's evaluating you. That evaluation of yourself is really the only thing that really matters. So to me, being fully human is taking responsibility for your own existence and making the most of it. I'm terribly worried about global warming and what we're doing to the planet, and in a non-scientific way, I think at a gut level that all animals have a very vivid perception of their own mortality. They care about their own mortality, and we have no idea how their perceptions are. If you think about a bumblebee or something like that, he might only live 90 days. I don't know how long bumblebees live, but I would assume that if they only live 100th of the time we live, maybe time moves 100 times more slowly, and so forth. So I'm very interested in that, and I've been a vegetarian since 1998.
So is Lucy. Do you know that?
Huh?
Lucy's been a vegetarian for about 2 years.
Okay.
She believes just like
Tell her to come get me on the phone if she's got any questions about that type of thing. But it's a lot of young kids, and I was once I realized where meat came from at the table when I was a little kid, I said, "Oh my God, why are we doing this?" and so forth. But I'm sure I can ramble and you can edit out. So I had a situation just the day before yesterday where I'm going down to put birdseed down. I'm walking down the 12 steps of my deck, and I put my hand on the post at the top of the rail, and I feel a bumblebee under my hand, and I jump back, and I go take care of it, and I come back, and it's not moving at all, and it obviously doesn't have wings. Yeah. So I put it in a little saucer, and you know how you get those little plastic cups from nurses that they give pills in? So I cut the very bottom off one and put water in a saucer and put a little honey in the saucer, and then used a little nail file to lift the bee into the saucer. It just leaned over the edge for like 27 hours in my house, and every now and then I'd walk up and just tip it, and it would be. And it would move an antenna or something. I realized it was still alive. So at the end, I tried and it didn't move at all. And I tried again and I said, well, it must have passed away. And I knew it was passing. So I went to put the saucer under a table on my deck. So, if it could revive it, wouldn't do it. And it popped back to life and climbed off the saucer. And I put some leaves down so it could hide, and figured, well, it would take it from there. This morning I go out and it's right back up on the same spot on the post. It went all the way across the deck without being able to fly, climbed up and found the exact same spot. And, what does that all mean? I don't know. Maybe there are other bumblebees that we're going to find them and give them some nourishment or something, but it's that degree of interest in the whole world. I don't think there's anything more forgivable if, as a species, we destroy life on Earth. I mean, and the apathy about that is what totally boggles my mind, that we're in a world where people are, shrug it off or say, well, that's somebody else's problem or whatever. So I don't know. Did that answer your question in any way?
It did, and you're going to make a big fan with Lucy Parody when she hears that. Last question. When was the last time that you felt especially human?
Well, again, maybe it's ego, and it's if I genuinely feel better about myself, it's not because I think I've impressed other people, which I'm not likely to do to begin with, or done anything like that, or had done any measurable accomplishments, but just done something that in my heart of hearts I appreciate and like, and I try to do that all the time. Working, I work with unhoused. I've been working with unhoused people for, oh my goodness, a couple decades, and help run a warming and cooling center for them and everything else. And I'm incredibly involved with animals. We've got a situation at our local dog park where we have some bluebirds that we figured out we're going to fledge in about the end of this month. And I contacted Animal Shelter, and I contacted the park director and said, hey, you guys want to get involved? We got to figure out a way they can jump out of the nest for a day and not get eaten by large dogs or whatever. And they got so excited about it. I went out there today, and they've got stakes up around where the nest is with caution tape and everything else, and they're going to put up a fence on the key days that we expect them to fledge. And it's not something I would go brag about or anything else. It's just normal. That's what makes, I'm 76. And that makes life really enjoyable. And so I think in my definition of being human, that would be it.
At the end of all these, I do a fist bump. Can we fist bump? That's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
There was one thought.
Yeah.
That, okay, if I can go ahead and do that. One thing, and giving this a lot of thought and in a critical view of society and so forth, is that, okay, I was born in 1950. So when I was a teen, Kennedy was getting assassinated, and RFK and Martin Luther King Jr. and so forth, and then Vietnam and everything else, and I was at Woodstock. I was very vocal. I protested and did everything else, and was very concerned about it. I actually had a guy that I vaguely knew in high school that I ran into who'd come back from the war with terrible wounds in his legs and everything else, and I took him in as a roommate, and then got a job with him working with me and everything else. So I was very, very involved in what was going on in the world, but I understood what was going to happen, and it did. That once you move from that freedom of college and everything else, where nobody's, to some extent, people are patting you on the head, saying, "Well, I'm glad you're outspoken and you're thinking about life and so forth." But once you start working for somebody else, you can't be as outspoken, especially if you're like most people, that you're not working for the government, you're not a professional, so you're working for somebody who owns the business. And my experience, unfortunately, is those people are very, very conservative. And I've had, consternation because I've spent most of my career, almost all of my career, in a management job where, 100 to 200 people reported to me and so forth. And I was very excited about the civil rights movement. I was very excited about the Americans with disabilities and what we were trying to do as a society. And I realized that quite often your employer's not at all excited about it. I worked for one where once a month they wanted you to, just one of these, they had a little pamphlet of, "We'd like you to do this and that." They wanted you to go out in the parking lot where the employees parked and check bumper stickers.
Just crazy.
And, see if there's a union bumper sticker or any other kind of liberal bumper sticker, and that type of thing. I actually had we had Tiananmen Square happen in China, and the CEO of the large company I worked for asked all the people in my position to write a letter to the Congress and make sure China still got most favored nation trading status, when at least I was totally livid that I was asked to do that and so forth. And, it said, well, there'll be no problem if you disagree. One person I knew vocally disagreed and wasn't with the company a week later and so forth. So it's those type of things happen to everybody. If you minimize it, you're kidding yourself. Mm-hmm. And even today, if anybody's got any sense, and they're in their 30s to their 60s, and they work for an independent company, sometimes national companies, they're not going to be outspoken on Facebook or Instagram or that type of thing, because it's check bumper stickers. I mean, suddenly they got the wrong bumper sticker. Then once you get into retirement, you're free again. I'm got a big mouth on the internet and so forth, because I feel like it's important that somebody again is outspoken. So the thing that worries me is that, and certainly Orwell referred to it in 1984, is that if you want to opiate the masses, you entertain them, you get them gambling and watching sports and so forth. And the biggest use of the internet is to totally entertain. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, in my mind, clearly opiate the public. And the college age kids and late in high school kids and that type of thing, there's no comparison between what it was like when I was that age and what it's like now. There's relative total silence going on. And as an adult, I'm able to be outspoken because I no longer work for somebody. Right. I'm sorry, if it weren't for Social Security, I would have a much more menial job than I had my whole career. Yeah. And I'd still be liable for what limited in what I could say about the world. So we have a phase where we do have freedom, and if I could change anything, I'd make sure that people would put down their cell phones or get off the internet long enough to exercise that freedom.
Amen.
Does that make
I'm
sense?
so glad you shared that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good, great.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think I've talked too much, bro.
Fist bump again.
All right.
Boom. All right. That was fantastic.
Was it okay?
Perfect. Ironically, air traffic control, like how stress props. All I know is when I'm on an airplane and I see like a plane, you know how you see the plane? I'm like, oh Lord, I'm trusting y'all. All right, so what we're gonna do is this is the main shot right here, and it's getting from the waist to the top of your head, and I'll be kind of in the peripheral right there, and you'll be looking at me when we're talking. And so that is on, and then this is just security. I've learned the hard way. And testing 1, 2. This is where the actual mic's going to come in. And this is the wide shot here. All right. So it took me longer to set up than it is to ask the question. But if we're there, I just want to make sure I'm not. Let me think. This is here.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I don't cover your face in the shot. Okay. Would you mind putting your hand right there on that? Good. So if I stand. This is why I need Lucy with me, my baby.
Right.
Lucy Perry, you're not here. All right. You ready for this?
Yes.
Nervous? Should be. All right. What is your name?
Gregory Baker.
And what time? I was like, what time were you born? When were you born? What year?
May 30th of 1968.
68. All right. So you'll look at me when you're answering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
You're good. What's your name?
Greg Baker.
And when were you born?
May 30th, 1968.
And what did you do for a living? What was your career?
Air traffic controller. Did that for over 30 years.
How come? Why that career?
Well, it's a funny story. It kind of fell on me. I was in college as a physics major. To get out of a physics test that day, you were exempt if you took this air traffic test. So I went and took it, and it was only 3 of us that passed. So I ended up being air traffic controller.
That's awesome. That's a great story. This is a simple question, kind of a heavy question, and it's not one I don't know many people. I don't know, I've thought too much about, but if you think about being a human, what does that mean to you?
I guess being a human I think the first thing that comes to my mind is just compassion. That most things, if you want to think about machine versus human, machines do something because they're programmed to do it. A lot of times humans do stuff by feeling. So compassion to me means you make decisions based on how compassionate you are. So being a human means that when that decision tree comes, that is part of what humans use to react based on their experiences, how much compassion is built in them. And that's just my point of view, and that's probably how I probably live my life as far as my experiences, what is the best result in my decision tree when I'm, wherever it is in the world, how is it gonna affect that person? And that's where the compassion comes from in my end. So that's what, to me, the borderline thing is we feel, we feel, and compassion is one of the things that helps us, to me, make decisions.
Take me a layer deeper.
Yeah.
Feeling and compassion. How do you know that's what humans can do? That's who we are.
Well, because I think your circumstances kind of creates a lot of your decisions. Like you may not have compassion for certain things. So that's only based on what you've experienced. So a lot of people might think I'm more forgiving of some things that people may do because of that thinking, but I do kind of try to look at that basic thing. Where did they come from? Why do they think like that? And why did they react like that? Don't make it right, but that's just the why. And that's what humans are. We're all different. And wherever we were created this thing that we grew into, these little experiences, these little feelings, these little reactions to whatever, nature or, whatever your environment you're in kind of creates you. And it can be an infinite amount of things that can come out. That's why we're so different.
I I forgot to ask you, is that me? Oh, no, that's you. Or somebody else.
Yeah,
That's somebody else.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can let it ring or you can mute it, whatever you want to do. Oh, wait a second.
That's your phone. I meant to tell you it was down here. That's all right.
No, you're good. You keep coming down here. I'm going to put you in this. You got to be in it.
It's right there behind. Oh, it stopped ringing.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you this question. Can you assure me, guarantee that you grew up without the internet in the home?
Yes. We didn't even have a computer.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you wish you would have had it, or are you glad you didn't? Like, where are you
I
sitting with it?
don't know because, no, I don't think I regret not having it.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just, I mean, we had to survive regardless, you know, of having it or not having it. And when I look back, what would it have added, you know, to my life, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, we didn't even have a computer.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. It's wild. Well, I was thinking, the whole reason we're doing this series is I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there will never be people again. When your generation passes, my generation passes. And I got the internet in the home when I was 13, and it highly affected our family. But it's like, there will never be another group of people who fully developed without the influence of a digital identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, right.
So very last question. When was the last time that you felt really human?
Oh, man, that's deep. I mean, what do you mean by felt human?
You can
Like,
answer it however you want to.
let's see. Last time. Well, I mean, I have 4 kids. So I guess the last time I really felt human might have been I just went to the movies with my daughter Monday. And the human part is when I see them. Just, you know, it's nothing transactional. It's just, hi, Dad. You know, and it's like that feeling. So when I see each one of them, that's probably the more human you can get, because there's nothing transactional. There's nothing, no give or take. It's just 2 people with a connection. So that, I guess, you know, that's the last time I felt human was Monday. I guess just real, just nothing. That's funny because you asked me that question. I can see her walking up because I had to wait on her. So I could see her walking up, and the feeling I had was just pride, you know. So
My dad is like my favorite person in this world. You're gonna make me bawl my eyes
yeah,
out. I'm like 40 years
old.
old, and you talk about my dad, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, do you mind if I fist bump you?
Yeah.
I do that at the end of every one.
Right, okay.
That's it.
All right. Well,
You did great. See, it's easy,
that
easy.
was awesome. But dang it, man, you just brought something out.
If I could tell you the truth, this is the truth, and I'm about to tell you. Remember how I said earlier that everybody's given me some pretty similar answers? No one has given me any of those answers. No one has said compassion. No one has said one of their family members was Jesus. All right, Alon, you're gonna look right here at me.
Okay.
All right. What's your name?
Ron Chapman,
What year were you born?
1956.
Promise me that you were fully grown before having access to the internet. There was no internet in the home. You were not influenced by it as a kid.
That is absolutely true.
How do you feel about that?
I have mixed feelings. On the one hand, I know we like to idealize, the way it was, and that's kind of like been every generation. And at the same time, I'm so enthralled by all the technology and what it brings to us that I'm kind of split mind about it.
In your opinion, this is the question. What does it mean to be a human?
I didn't know that question was coming, Heather.
You had no idea.
Okay, so I'm just going to go all psycho-spiritual on this. I think it's about being present. Present to whatever there is right here, right now. My longtime mentor, I call him Master Samwise, used to love to say that his main goal was to be free to experience what is, which would be like an unconditioned, ready to take it in. And some would say that that's what it is, as Jesus said, to become his children again, to come back to that state of just being present despite all the conditioning, including all the technology. So I think there's something really powerful about that.
Last question. We have 3 minutes.
Okay.
When was the last time you felt especially human?
I actually just told a story about this just recently. And it actually happens with some frequency to me, where, well, the last time that really stands out, it was a completely innocuous moment. I was standing in front of my laptop and I was stretching. My arms were up over my head because I'd been hunched over for a little bit. And all of a sudden, I was just catapulted into the now, absolutely present. I can feel it up here. I mean, it's a feeling in my body. It's a somatic response to, I guess, reality. And it's like, oh yeah. And it's like one of those things where about all I can do is just stay present and breathe, because the feeling is so intense. And sometimes I think I can conjure it up, but I think largely it's the kind of stuff that may be out of our control. So there's something about being intensely present. And so here's what I've figured out about this. We think it only happens in special places. The Grand Canyon, it's like, no, it's just as present right here, right now, talking to you. It's just a little harder to see right here. So I think we're talking about being able to be fully present, which I guess would be beingness, right? So human beingness. So that's my psycho-spiritual answer.
Those are my favorite ones. I always do a fist bump at the end. Fist bump me.
That was 5 minutes.
That's it.
You rock.
38.
Wow.
Thank you for your patience.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry about being
I was
late. To be on the safe side. All right. What's your name?
Langley Cornwell.
And what year were you born?
I was born in 1960.
Can you guarantee that you did not grow up with the internet in the house?
Internet? We barely had a TV. I can guarantee.
And how do you feel about that? Like growing up without the tech, how does that feel?
When I see kids today, it makes me feel really grateful, because we had a neighborhood full of kids, and I wasn't really joking when I said we didn't have a TV. We did have a small black and white TV, but we only had 3 channels, so there wasn't a lot to choose from. So honestly, the only thing that you could do was entertain yourself and hang out with your friends. So when we would get home from school, or all through the summers, we would come home and go outside and see what everybody's doing. And everybody was outside. And we were never inside. And time was also different because people weren't worried about kids, I don't know, getting in trouble or worse. And so we had all kinds of games we played. Like we used to love to play hide and go seek, but because we thought we were kind of edgy, we would play tie up hide and go seek. So we would get ropes and tie the person up, and instead of counting to 10 or whatever, they would have to untie themselves. And while they were untying themselves, we were hiding. So we took like basic neighborhood games and added twists to them. So we had to do a whole bunch of creative things just to keep ourselves entertained.
So the big question for this is, what does it mean to be a human? And you can answer that however you want to. But when I say, what does it mean to be a human? What comes up for you?
For me, and what an interesting question. I wasn't really prepared for this one. So this is off the cuff. But for me, what that really means is being in community with other people and being in touch with the earth. I really believe in the power of being outside and smelling the air and feeling the breeze and seeing the sky, and I would not trade my childhood and how much time we spent in the woods, in the creeks, and just digging in the earth and trying to catch birds with a salt shaker. I mean, just communing with the natural world and the people in it. Don't get me wrong, I love technology. Like I'm all about it. But I didn't even have a typewriter in college. I wasn't even introduced to computers until long after I graduated from college. So I don't know what it would be like to be a kid and grow up with a phone always in your hand. And with all of that fast stimulation, and I don't know what it will be like not to know the joy of being outside.
Recording?
Yep.
Red's still on. She's in focus. Everything looks great.
Yep.
Good. When was the last time that you felt particularly human?
I'm sad that we can't do this now, but there was a place, this is an easy one for me, because there was a place, and it was a development, but they hadn't developed it. It was pre-COVID, but it was a site, and they had plowed the site, but they hadn't built anything, and it had kind of been abandoned. I feel like the construction, the people had lost their funding or whatever. So it was just this beautiful field out in the woods and surrounded by trees. And my husband and I used to take our dogs there to run off leash every day. It was like our ritual. And we would take off our shoes feel the earth, and the dogs would just go wild running off leash, and sometimes I would just lay in the grass, and then the dogs would be all over me, licking me and looking at the sky. And I loved that. We loved that. It was good for all of us, our two dogs, me and my husband, and I mean picking the wild blackberries and just all the things. And I loved that. And after COVID, the developers, somebody got money and they built that place up, and we haven't found a place like that since that we can go to. But when you ask me to describe what it feels like to be human, and the last time I felt human, it was, what an interesting thing to consider, but it was when we were out there with them just running wild. And the deer and just all the animals and just all the nature, and the dogs being off leash and free. It was just, felt very human.
I don't know if I shared this with you, but kind of the reason I started this project was I think a lot about AI and tech and humanity and spirituality and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I was thinking about how when your generation passes, when my generation, well, I got internet when I was 13.
Oh.
In the home. It really messed up our family. It was not a good experience. And I was thinking about the impact of that. When your generation passes, people who did not grow up without it, there will never, ever, 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 ever again be a group of humans who knew what it was like to not grow up with it. And think about this. From a neurological standpoint, we have digital identity now. There's Heather on the internet.
Yeah.
And there's Heather right here.
Oh.
And so those two worlds become enmeshed where it gets confusing, how to interact. And so I know that's heavy, but I wanted to document, people who grew up without it, because people, God willing, watching this 50 years down the road, there won't be any other people on this earth, with who can speak to humanity without the influence of tech. And so that's heavy AF. But
that is.
If
that
you
is.
were to say something to like future generations of like to understand like what it was like to be a human without a digital footprint,
right?
Goggles, because they're going to go into a time where we're in virtual reality.
I believe
you know what I mean? What do you want them to know about that world? They never experienced it.
Yeah, I would beseech them to put down their device and get outside. I know that I'm sounding like a broken record, but I can't think of anything more important. Really, I can't. Just get real sunlight.
Why?
Because I feel like that's what makes you human. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like, what are you otherwise? Like, what are you? Gosh, this is so good. I love this kind of stuff. But I'm having a hard time articulating how I feel about it because it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
It's such a simple question.
Such a simple question.
And no one I've talked to has been able to, and that's what I think is so interesting. It's like, as human species, like, I can't even like articulate what is it to be a human.
Right.
And I think that's coming more and more to question with AI and bots and stuff. It's like, how do we differentiate ourselves? What is it about us that is human?
Well, one thing that I will say that is foundational in my life and that I would probably consider one of my most human traits is my ability to connect with other people. Now, in general, I'm an extreme introvert, but I'm okay talking one-on-one because I think that I do not do well with small talk, but I love getting into the weeds with people. And I feel like that's probably a big part of being human, too. I mean, I know I'm banging on about being outside, but you can have a great conversation with another human anywhere. So don't get me wrong. I'm kind of reevaluating what I said or I would like to add to what I've already said by saying I feel like one-on-one communication or even small group communication, but face-to-face is vital. It is a vital part of being human because what else is there? Like you said, I personally, and maybe my generation, I don't know, but has a hard time justifying my online life versus my real life. Like I so desperately want to be authentic online. I'm not keen on the filters and the AI I'm not keen on that. It's just so foreign to me and shocking. Somebody did a movie poster of me recently and it was an AI version of me, and I showed it to my husband. He said, "That's not you."
Yeah.
And I said, I know. It's
I know.
what the bot thinks I look like, but it's not me. So I feel like community with people is what makes me human also. Yeah. That's very important to me. Like, I prize that. I have friends and family and relationships that I prize above all else. Like, it could make me misty to think about how connected I am to my tribe. And I can't imagine feeling human without those people.
Is there anything about this topic that you wish I would have asked that I didn't?
I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I really didn't. And I purposefully didn't try to pre-plan or overthink anything because I really wanted to feel spontaneous and represent myself in an authentic manner. So, no, I just want to remind people that there are people right now walking around on Earth that didn't even know what a fax machine was. Like, I remember the first email address I got, and I could not believe that people could communicate with me through the ether. But I don't want that group of people, my group of people, to be discounted, because I feel like the older I get, the more invisible I get. And that's okay. But I feel like I wish I would have paid more attention to my elders in my life, because I think I missed some really terrific opportunities there. Like, I really wish I would have got to know my grandfather better, because as I learn about him, I can see how much of him I have in my life and how much he could have taught me if I would have slowed down and listened. So I just want my generation to be recognized.
I forgot to ask you this earlier. What do you do out in the world, just so people know who you are?
Oh, well, I'm retired from corporate, and I'm an actor.
That's right. Great. Okay, I do a fist bump at the end.
Okay.
Everybody fist bumps. That's it. Y'all jump down real quick. We're gonna do a fake. If you'll grab, that was beautiful. By the way.
Oh wow, thank you.
Grab my phone and do a behind the scenes this way. Just get a couple of. You can let her get 5.
I can do 2.
And then you do 2. Okay. But make sure you get it through this lens, Lou. You know how you do. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to pretend like we're talking.
Okay, good.
The whole invisible thing, like that, made me tear up a little bit because I forgot who it was. I can't remember. I wish there was some project I was working on, or somebody I was talking to, where they were talking about, I know what it was. Last summer, I started filming some of the women in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my grandparents had passed on, but my mother, my stepmom, some other, just figures, and just asking them questions about being a woman and all that. I just filmed it. I haven't done anything with it yet, but that was the term that came up over and over and over again, was invisible.
100%.
And I was shocked.
100%.
And it moved me to my core, because, I was asking, because I'm about to turn 40. I'm turning 40 in a couple of months. And I was like, what's it like to, kind of step into that season of my life? Mm-hmm. And they weren't trying to be mean or negative or whatever, but they were just like, the older you get, the more invisible you feel.
You become irrelevant.
It's crazy.
I wish I would have used that term, because it is so true. You become irrelevant. People think that there is nothing you know, nothing you have, nothing you can say that will enlighten them or even interest them.
Yeah.
My husband and I take classes at the College of Charleston, and it is so interesting because some classes we go to, like the students, almost like, don't catch my eye, don't look at me, old people, I don't know how to interact with you. And other students are like, what are you doing here? Why are you here?
Ironically, air traffic control, like how stress props. All I know is when I'm on an airplane and I see like a plane, you know how you see the plane? I'm like, oh Lord, I'm trusting y'all.
Right.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, this is the main shot right here, and it's getting from the waist to the top of your head, and I'll be kind of in the peripheral right there, and you'll be looking at me when we're talking. And so that is on, and then this is just security. I've learned the hard way. And testing 1, 2. This is where the actual mic's going to come in. And this is the wide shot here. All right. So it took me longer to set up than it is to ask the question. But if we're there, I just want to make sure I'm not. Let me think. This is here.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I don't cover your face in the shot. Okay. Would you mind putting your hand right there on that? Good. So if I stand... This is why I need Lucy with me, my baby.
Right.
Lucy Parody, you're not here. All right. You ready for this?
Yes.
Nervous? Should be. All right. What is your name?
Gregory Baker.
And what time? I was like, what time were you born? When were you born? What year?
May 30th of 1968.
1968. All right, so you'll look at me when you're answering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, you're
Okay.
good. You're good. What's your name?
Greg Baker.
And when were you born?
May 30th, 1968.
And what did you do for a living? What was your career?
air traffic controller. Did that for over 30 years.
How come? Why that career?
Well, it's a funny story. It kind of fell on me. I was in college as a physics major. To get out of a physics test that day, you were exempt if you took this air traffic test. So I went and took it, and it was only 3 of us that passed. So I ended up being an air traffic controller.
That's awesome. That's a great story. This is a simple question, kind of a heavy question, and it's not one I don't know many people. I don't know, I've thought too much about, but if you think about being a human, what does that mean to you?
I guess being a human I think the first thing that comes to my mind is just compassion. That most things, if you want to think about machine versus human, machines do something because they're programmed to do it. A lot of times humans do stuff by feeling. So compassion to me means you make decisions based on how compassionate you are. So being a human means that when that decision tree comes, that is part of what humans use to react based on their experiences, how much compassion is built in them. And that's just my point of view, and that's probably how I probably live my life as far as my experiences, what is the best result in my decision tree when I'm, wherever it is in the world, how is this going to affect that person? And that's where the compassion comes from in my end. So that's what, to me, the borderline thing is we feel. We feel, and compassion is one of the things that helps us, to me, make decisions.
Take me a layer deeper.
Yeah.
Feeling and compassion. How do you know that's what humans can do? That's who we are.
Well, because I think your circumstances kind of creates a lot of your decisions. Like you may not have compassion for certain things. So that's only based on what you've experienced. So a lot of people might think I'm more forgiving of some things that people may do because of that thinking, but I do kind of try to look at that basic thing. Where did they come from? Why do they think like that? And why did they react like that? Don't make it right, but that's just the why. And that's what humans are. We're all different. And wherever we were created this thing that we grew into, these little experiences, these little feelings, these little reactions to whatever, nature or, whatever your environment you're in kind of creates you. And it can be an infinite amount of things that can come out. That's why we're so different.
I forgot to ask you, is that me? Oh, no, that's you. Or somebody else.
Yeah,
that's somebody else.
Yeah, I can.
No, we can let it ring, or you can mute it, whatever you want to do. Well, wait a second.
That's your phone. I meant to tell you it was down here. That's all right.
No, you're good. You keep coming down here. I'm going to put you in this. You got to be in it.
It's right there behind. Oh, it stopped ringing.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you this question. Can you assure me, guarantee that you grew up without the internet in the home?
Yes. We didn't even have a computer.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you wish you would have had it, or are you glad you didn't? Like, where you sit?
I don't know, because I don't think I regret not having it. Because it was just, we had to survive regardless, of having it or not having it. And when I look back, what would it have added, to my life, so. Yeah. But I never thought about that. Yeah, we didn't even have a computer.
Yeah.
That's deep.
It's wild. Well, I was thinking, the whole reason we're doing this series is I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there will never be people again. When your generation passes, my generation passes. And I got the internet in the home when I was 13, and it highly affected our family. But it's like, there will never be another group of people who fully developed without the influence of a digital identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, right.
So very last question. When was the last time that you felt really human?
Man, that's deep. I guess, what do you mean by felt human.
You can
Like,
answer it however you want to.
let's see. Last time, well, I mean, I have 4 kids, so I guess the last time I really felt human might have been I just went to the movies with my daughter. Monday, and the human part is when I see them. It's nothing transactional. It's just, hi, Dad, and it's like that feeling. So when I see each one of them, that's probably the more human you can get, because it's nothing transactional. It's nothing, no give or take. It's just 2 people with a connection. So that, I guess, that's the last time I felt human was Monday. I guess just real, just nothing. It's funny because you asked me that question. I can see her walking up, because I had to wait on her. So I could see her walking up, and the feeling I had was just pride, So.
My dad is like my favorite person in this world. You're gonna make me bawl my eyes
Yeah,
out. I'm like 40 years
old.
old, and you talk about my dad, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, do you mind if I fist bump you?
Yeah.
I do that at the end of every one.
Okay.
That's
all right.
it.
All right. Well,
You did great. See, it's easy, easy,
that
easy.
was awesome. But dang it, man, you just brought something out.
If I could tell you the truth, this is the truth, and I'm about to tell you. Remember how I said earlier that everybody's given me some pretty similar answers? No one has given me any of those answers. No one has said compassion. No one has said one of their family members was the fourth there.
Oh, Mama, that's gross water.
Hit record there.
Mama.
Ready? Woo! You ready to rock and roll?
Here, you can turn this.
Okay.
Yeah, just shove that out of the way. Move what you need to move.
Cool. What's your name?
Nathan Parsons,
What year were you born?
early 1975.
75. And can you promise me that without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, you did not grow up with the internet in that home?
I can absolutely make that promise, because I remember logging in for the first time after I joined the Army. Oh, yes.
How did that feel?
Empowering, because I felt like a big boy. Get my first computer and get the first disk for AOL in the mail, and then you load it. And just being able to have my own email for the first time. Yeah.
Big topic, big question. You can answer it whatever comes up for you. But when you think about what it means to be a human being, how would you describe that? What does it mean to be human?
The ability to not just be loved, but feel loved. To feel valued, valuable, cherished, and to be able to not reciprocate, but to be able to make other human beings feel the same. To be able to connect, yes, we connect with our dogs, we love our fur babies, but there's something about the ability to connect to the human heart, the human mind, to have relationship, to build community. We're not packs and herds, and we have the ability to make choices on who we spend time with and where we spend our energy, our efforts, where we bring our gifts, our talents, abilities to the table, how we serve others. And so I think in a general sense it's probably what comes to mind for that. It's just the ability to feel life at a very deep level.
How do you know?
How do I know? Which part?
How do you know that being able to feel is what makes us human? And connect. How do you know that's what is? If you think about it, some people would argue AI can do that. That it can feel and connect. It'll tell you that it can. But how do you know that's distinctly a human trait?
That's a great question.
That's why I'm doing this series, 'cause I
All
don't know.
of all of AI, we all have biases, right? AI is created by a human being that also has biases. So no matter how intelligent we believe AI is, it's going to do what the creator has designed it to do. And it stays within that limits. I think for us as humans, you know, we're really spiritual in our marriage and our family, how we've raised our boys. We all have choices. We can choose to do what our creator has created us to do, or we can choose not to. And I think what sets us apart from AI, robots, computers in the car, they may be able to sense, you know, they have sensors built in, but ultimately it will function within the parameters. You know, I think there's beautiful aspects of what human beings are creating, but they can't create presence. They can't create the moment where someone feels like they are seen. I could put in all kinds of prompts into AI and have it describe me, but it's only as good as my prompts. It can't sit there, look back at me, no matter what we're seeing on all these sitcoms and these television shows that are really highlighting to be able to create someone that looks like a deceased loved one. And the technology is incredible, but at the end of the day, the ability to sit in someone's space, to be present in their pain, to be present in their victories, and to share that moment on a deeper level, I think for me that's probably the best way that I can answer that. It's knowing that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that I am the one that my God had in his mind's eye when he said, this is when Nathan's going to be born in the earth in this time to these parents with his genetic structure the way it is. And that's special to me. The earth doesn't need more Nathans. The earth needs more people that are choosing to relate with others with authenticity and transparency, and doing that in a way that changes lives. You know, the ability to empower and inspire and use the creative things that are in our heads, our brains, our hearts. It just, I don't know. I think that's what sets us apart from the animal kingdom, you know, for sure. Yes, they're designed to build, but a beaver is not going to make a nest in a tree, and that bird that's making that nest doesn't know how to build a dam in the river or the pond. And so human beings have the ability to go beyond a very, I don't know, focused way of, man, that doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, I think we can choose to write a book. We could choose to paint a house. We can choose to build a shed. We have capacity in us that I think is so far beyond what we even see for ourselves. Yeah.
When was the last time you felt particularly human?
I mean, today. Like, I mean, just right now, I mean, we get to enjoy this back half of our lives in our 50s and empty nest season, and just came back from a trip, and so my wife does an incredible job making me feel human. You know, she expresses her gratitude, she expresses her love, appreciation. I feel seen, I feel heard, those things that I shared earlier. She does that for me. And so I'm very blessed. And so for me, all the things that I think make us human is how she makes me feel when I'm in her presence. You know, I'm not just a cog in the wheel, you know, running the household or fixing things. I'm not a tool she uses. You know, I'm her person and she's mine. And so I'm really blessed. You know, we spend a lot of time with other married couples that they may not answer that question that way because they don't have what we have. And so, yeah.
Is there anything about this topic that you wanted to say that I did not ask you?
What it's like to be human. Anything else?
Or if you think about, you know, the idea of this, I was telling Becky on the way here, she said, what's your reason for doing this? I said 2 reasons. Number 1, just to spur on thought. And then the second reason is to capture a moment in history where, not to be morbid, but when we all pass in this room and this generation passes, there will never be humans again, ever.
Yeah.
Unless we all burn everything down,
Right.
which is possible. That'll exist to understand what it means to be a human being without the influence, literally shaping our brains.
Yeah.
Of what it means to be a human without the impact of technology. So knowing that, like, is there anything you would want to share with that context, anybody watching in the future? No pressure.
Well, I appreciate that. No, and I mean, even just to go back to, you know, the pre-internet days in which I was raised. I mean, I was outside. I was the kid drinking from the water hose and didn't come in the house to get a fresh glass of water. I was the one that was riding bikes and throwing the baseball and football and had friends. And even when I was inside, it was Legos and Hot Wheels and building things and creating and writing and drawing and reading books. And so, you know, I think about just what it felt like to literally be in the moment every day. You know, as a child, you're not thinking about, man, I wish I had something that could entertain me. I mean, to not have the internet, to not have email, to not have those things that distracted me from Alex Rodriguez down the street and Gerald Butler and guys from my baseball team and my elementary school and putt-putt golfing and birthday parties. I think so much has changed. And a lot of incredible things and opportunities. Certainly technology is not the bad, you know, the bad guy, if you will. But we've seen in our lifetime, we've seen just this degradation of being able to be present with people. You know, there's all these distractions, and you know, we sit in a restaurant, and as marriage coaches, we're looking around, and how many couples are on their phones in silence, sitting across the table, and there's candles in the middle of the table. It's a nice restaurant, and they're in their own space, in their own social media world, and they're not present with each other. And so, you know, the ability to connect with one another has been substituted for this connection with these devices and screens and other things. And I mean, we use devices, and it's a beautiful thing, but there has to be balance. And what I appreciate about my childhood is, looking back now, is the balance. Not in every domain of life like we think of it as adults, but I was outside and inside, and I built and created and had relationships. I you know, we didn't sit down and watch TV as a family. We watched slideshows from my dad's business trips, and, you know, we went on walks and bike rides, and, you know, we connected even in the hard seasons. You know, Dad was traveled for work, and just even then, there was nothing else to distract us. There was no travel ball. There wasn't the grind that we have now. You know, keeping up. I mean, keeping up with the Joneses has probably gone on for a long time, but it didn't feel like we were chasing stuff and things. And I think the internet has given us so many things at our fingertips. We've lost the art of pursuit. We've lost the art of not just pursuing relationships with people, but hard work and tenacity and you know, I don't want to say soft, because then, you know, I'll sound like my dad and, you know, my grandfather, you know, baby boomers and, you know, greatest generation. But there's a lot of hope too. I think if we stay so focused on all the negative, we lose the sight of there's hope. There's a beauty in this world. And if we are just willing to just set some things aside, there's the big thing about boundaries right now, you know, create boundaries, set boundaries, you know. But I think the right word, at least for me and for us, is disciplines. And if you're disciplined to set your phone down and leave it in the room when you come to the dinner table, or you not work till late hours of the night while your children aren't being tucked into bed, right? There should be some disciplines. And I think if we were more intentional about our relationships, we wouldn't feel like we need the devices. And I think that choice right there may describe what it's like to be human more than anything I've said, is the ability to choose relationship, to choose people over profit, to choose walking in our purpose, to choose the higher, better thing, not because we're designed, but because we get to choose to pursue that very thing. So that's probably
Fist bump at the end for everybody. Boom, like that. Excellent.
all right.
How do you feel?
Good.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Because I know you'll edit all of that and make everybody look good.
Oh yeah, man. The editing. That's gonna be all month.
When are you trying to?
For ourselves.
Yeah, but.
Well, you sold some merch. I would buy that. That's cool.
Yeah, so and then we have a second one we just did. It's all black with just our On Fire Marriage flame taken out of the logo, with Marriage Coach on the back.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's sick. Well, thanks for doing this. And
It was nice meeting you. Enjoy your
We do a
time
testing
here. I have to
session
head out to the other
Testing,
meeting.
testing. 1, 2,
Enjoy.
3.
Do you want some water?
4, 5, 6.
Okay, do you want some water?
I'm great. We're gonna go through a drive-through after this. And
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Get me a Diet Coke, even though I shouldn't be drinking that, but I do.
Coke
I love
Zero.
We have that too if you want one.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
Bye.
So
Thanks,
same
Heather.
thing. Thank you. You look great. Everything's rocking and rolling. What's your name?
Noemi Parsons.
And what year were you born?
I was born in 1972.
Okay. And can you confirm, without a shadow of a doubt, that you did not have the internet in your home when you were growing up?
Yes, absolutely. We were poor. So we didn't have much of any of those types of things. My second,
Interrupt you. I'm not sure that mic will work there.
he put it here, so I don't know.
Will you? Do you mind?
No, don't touch me. Let me put it over here on this side.
See, this is it here.
Oh,
so you want to
you
make
make it
sure
so?
that's closer to you. So let's start that again.
Is that better?
Yes. Okay. What's your name?
Noemi Parsons.
What year were you born?
April 5th, 1972.
And you can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that you grew up without the internet in your home.
Absolutely. I don't even remember my parents getting a computer until they were well into their 40s-ish. So, Yeah, my dad was a hairdresser, my mom was a manicurist. So they didn't, we did the whole calling on the telephone to set appointments. So yeah, they just didn't have any of that technology.
And how do you, looking back on that, is that something you kind of envious of this generation, that you would have had access to that or not, or no?
No, it's so easy to get wrapped up in devices and things. And when you don't have them, you don't even have the ability to get them. You don't even know. You don't miss it because you've never had it. So not having it, not growing up with it, I didn't know what I was missing, I guess is an easier way to say I didn't know what I was missing. So I didn't envy something I didn't really know. So.
Big question, the money question. What does it mean, in your opinion, to be a human being?
I think for me, it's choices. We get to make our own choices. And kindness is really big for me because I think we've lost that. People aren't kind to each other. I love smiling at people because sometimes you don't know what that simple smile can do for someone's day. And I think that being able to have choices in your life is huge, and that is the art of being human. You get to choose what you want to do, whether it's start a new career or start working out to make yourself feel better or take your kids to the zoo. Like, you get to choose those things. Nobody's telling you what you should do or what it means to be successful. AI can tell you all of that stuff, but as a mom, what am I doing for my kids to set them up for success, not just sitting them in front of a device? Am I teaching them to love other children that don't look like them? Am I teaching them how to be human, how to be nice, how to have a conversation with someone? I see that so much now. People don't even know how to have conversations. They hide behind usernames and devices, and it's sad. It's really sad to me. It's great. It can be great, but it's a tool, and we have to use the tools in the right way.
Just to go a layer deeper underneath that, what is it about choice for you that's what came up for you?
So I went through a really dark season about 6-ish years ago, and I didn't even talk to my husband about it. I struggled with fear, and we were going through COVID at that time. We owned a small business, and I thought we were going to lose it all. I thought we were going to lose our house, everything we worked for so hard. So I kept it bottled up, and I didn't share with anyone, not even my husband. And I had to obviously pray. I prayed a lot, but I had to get to a place in myself that I wanted to change that I didn't want to be miserable. I didn't want to have fear that gripped my soul. I didn't want that anymore. And I had to make a choice. And that choice was to not fall into that voice that you hear in your head. You're a failure, you're all those things that you hear, I'm not that. God created me for something big. If he wouldn't have, I wouldn't be here. So it's choice. It's saying, no, I'm not that. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God, you made me. I'm the head. I'm not the tail. I can be more. So for me, that's what it is. It's choice.
When was the last time that you felt really human?
Man, this whole season of life has been so good because I get to choose what I do every day. You know, I get to be grateful for my life. And man, once you have gratitude, everything makes you feel human, good, in a good way. Went to the gym this morning. I got to work out with my person. You know, we got to serve at church just a little bit ago. That's where we just came from. Like, I get to do those things. And I think that's the art of feeling human, is you get to be grateful. You get to choose. And we do every day.
Is there anything you wanted to share you wish I asked you about this topic? I, shared earlier with your husband about just kind of this idea that, God willing, this would be something that's a timestamp, about what it means to be a human and all of that. Is there anything that comes up for you? Maybe not, no pressure, but that you wanted to say that I didn't ask?
Let's see. Not that I can think of. Choose wisely in everything. Just choose wisely. Really think about what you're doing. And that's it.
Fist bump.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Good. Good.
You
It's
nailed it.
it's getting easier.
I was going to say you're freaking
Once
natural.
you do it more, and just been praying about it.
Well, this is what y'all want to do this next season is exactly what we just did. One more time.
Testing, testing.
First of all,
Yes.
thank you for doing this.
Certainly.
I know you don't know me from anybody, so I appreciate you taking time to do this.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It's been,
Thank
I was
you.
telling Becky, it's been wild. A lot of the people out here I've just never met before in my life. It's just been really cool, like hearing honest perspectives
Yes.
about this.
Yes.
That wasn't filtered through people who know me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you're doing it. Do you need to turn this off, by the way? I don't know if that's going to present you. I mean,
I filmed in public places, so
okay.
so we'll just leave me here. Girl, I'm up. Alright, what's your name?
Michael Perry.
What year were you born?
I was born in 1972.
I don't believe you.
Way back. I'm telling you, the 70s.
Alright, can you guarantee me that you grew up in a home without the internet?
Oh yeah, yes. In fact, yeah, I guarantee you. In fact, I don't think I heard of the internet until I was out of that house for, I don't know, 6, 7 years. I mean, yeah, I mean, sure it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing publicly. Yeah.
And looking at the way your girls have grown up and kind of what they have access to, how do you feel about not having it? Is it something that you're like, man, I wish I would have had that growing up? That's more tools, resources. Or are you glad you didn't? Or indifferent? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm indifferent to some extent. I mean, I think it's natural to think about, hey, if I had the level of access that all these kids have now, what could we have known? What could we have done? But I think there was some value in not having that. I mean, we learned how to search for things. We learned what it was to be curious and to have to perhaps, maybe not know the answer or not immediately anyway. And so I think it changed. I think it facilitated conversation even in a lot of cases, because now before we debate about it for a while, we'll stop and say, you know what, let's see what Google says. And then we just go and we try to find the answer versus really talking through it, investigating. I think there's a couple of things. Humility, right? I mean, not knowing the answer. It suggests that, hey, it's impossible to know everything. And there's some humility in that. And there's some humanity in that, because we can't possibly know everything, but there's this false sense that we can discover anything we want at any time we want. So that brings a bit of arrogance, and I do think it cuts down on our ability to communicate and connect with one another, and to have a genuine conversation. Because even now, I mean, and I didn't have the internet, but I have it now, and so when there's a question, after a few minutes, I'm like, why are we still asking this question? Why are we still asking? Just somebody look it up, right? And so I think it's impacted us all.
You answer this however you want
Yeah.
But when I say, what does it mean to be a human being? What does that mean?
What does it mean to be a human being? Such a deep question. I thought a lot about this, and I first thought, first we're living and we're breathing, obviously, right? Being human is something different. So then I thought maybe it's about the relationship, the ability to form relationship, the desire to form relationship, to be in community with other people. I think that's being a human being. But there's something deeper, right? Even what we just talked about. There's curiosity in being a human being. There's fear. There's uncertainty. There's joy. There's all these things that it means to be a human being. And when you think about how technology has somewhat removed some of those elements of our human connection, there's some pieces that we miss out on, right? Being a human being is being afraid to ask that girl to dance, right? But doing it anyway and experiencing the joy that comes with that, or maybe the disappointment, but knowing that, hey, I got to go and I have to maybe do this again. There's something about perseverance that's wrapped up in being human, right? To try and to fail and to know what that feels like and to try again, to share those things with other people, to share your life with other people. I don't know, that's what being a human being is, I think.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, they say it takes one to know one. I think I'm human. I think, I think about my life and the fact that it's been really good, but it's been far from perfect. And the fact that it's been far from perfect is actually one of the things that makes it really good. My wife and I, we speak at marriage conferences all over the country, with thousands of people. And much of what we talk about is some of the difficulty, some of the failures, and how that's resulted in us being perhaps better than we ever were, right? So there's a sharing that takes place when you're human. And somehow when you see someone who's genuine, who's real, like who's a real human being, then you know it. And you easily connect to that thing. And so in some ways, the evidence is in the experience of dealing with another human being.
When was the last time you felt really human?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, we live in Georgia. It's hot. I feel real human, like a real human being walking through this heat, right? My wife and I have decided to, we're going into ministry full time after being in the military for 22 years, after being in business for a decade. And there's some things that felt certain about that, some things that felt safe about it, familiar, right? And so now we're stepping into something that's totally unfamiliar. And so there can be some anxiety around that. There can be some, I'll call it fear around that. But yet we move anyway. And so there's an energy in that makes me feel my humanity every day. Yeah.
Is there anything else about this topic that you wanted to share, you think is important to share, that it has?
I think I'd say that being a human being is something that requires us a lived experience that I think in some ways we are willingly giving up currently with our devices. And, for a while I thought maybe the devices were the worst thing that could potentially happen in terms of our separation from one another. But now we introduce artificial intelligence in a way where it's at the user level. And so now we are giving that humanity over to something that is effectively inhuman. It's something that is born of us, but it's not human per se. And so, I think that can be problematic. I mean, I've talked to people who engage with AI on a regular basis because it tells them things that make them feel good. It almost never gets the answer wrong. And that's inherently, well, that's not human, right? Because we make mistakes. And so part of what we must do is to accept that those mistakes happen and to give each other some grace and some space to make those mistakes and to be able to reconnect, right? And so we can work on those relationships. Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
If you think about preserving like this conversation in a time capsule, and there will literally within the next however many years not be a human on Earth ever again who experienced life without digital identity.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like when this generation passes, it'll never exist again. And so if you think about future generations watching human beings who are not neurologically influenced by technology, what do you want them to understand about this time and space? You aren't ready for me to
I'm not ready. It's a huge question. There's a peace actually in not having all of this access to information. There's a peace in not having my phone with me all the time. There's a peace in having 5 television channels, right? There's so much noise. And I think I would want people to understand that there was a time when life was more quiet. And there's such joy in that. I think that's what I tell them.
So I do this at the end of every interview.
Yeah.
I do a fist bump. So you gotta lean fist bumps and get that on camera.
All right.
And that is it.
Okay. Thank you.
We did it. You, man.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Make it stop here. And then hit the phone. Alright, you sit here. I don't want you to touch anything. Where's Lucy?
Why do you
at?
do the puzzle?
Where's Lucy?
On the ground there.
Would you get a couple of pictures? Or no, you're taking notes. Hey, Brian. No, you take notes. Brian. Will you take some photos of behind the scenes?
I can do it.
No. I want you to sit over here. Your security.
Yeah, but don't I have to do like...
I want you to make sure that mommy is not hitting Nani's face in that. Okay. Do you see?
Lean a little bit more. Like,
do you see me? I want to be like, you know how.
it's
You're not even
this
on camera.
tiny.
How's that? That's
I
good.
see your. No.
I don't want to be on camera. I just
I
want
can
her to
see
see.
this much of your face. I see your nose and partial of one eye.
Okay, well, I'm not going to get any closer because that's awkward.
What?
Okay.
It'll
I'm
be
just-
fine.
Okay.
It'll be
I'm just
fine.
saying you can't
This
see
looks good. We do testing 1, 2.
Testing.
Perfect. Is that on? Is that recording?
Yeah.
And if you can get some behind the scenes of the camera at this.
I'm good at behind the scenes.
You're very good. Watch your feet. Let me take my teeth out. Take my teeth out.
Okay, right now you're not even in frame.
That's fine. That's fine. No worries. No worries. I'd rather be out of frame.
You're
than-
not even. You can't even see her. See
It's
you.
okay. It's okay.
It is.
Yeah. Do you see her eyes? When she looks at me, you see her eyes.
Yeah.
Good. That's the most important part. Okay. What's your name?
Okay. Becky Parody.
And what year were you born?
1951.
Okay, we'll start that again because Brian cast a shadow on your face. What's your name?
Becky Parody.
And what year were you born?
1951.
Can you promise me that you grew up in a home without the internet?
I can definitely promise you that.
And how do you feel about that? Do you wish you would have had it? Are you glad you didn't have it, looking back on it?
I think there's 2 pieces to that. There's a lot more information that's helpful that's out there today.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think going through life and going through your struggles and just having to learn, I don't know if it would be the same.
Question of the day. Is the mic on her, covering her mouth in that camera?
No. It's like this.
Question of the day. When you think about what it means to be a human being,
What does that mean to you?
I think when I think of being a human, I think of what makes you feel alive. And I think telling the truth is a big piece of that. If we're able to self-reflect and be self-aware, it's so much more helpful to be able to maneuver through life and know just where we need change and just to keep growing.
Why would you say that is what it means to be a human? What is it about telling the truth and self-reflection that screams humanity to you?
I guess it would be life experiences that when I'm not aware of myself, it's such a different life than when I can say, oh, I see why this is happening. I see how I'm thinking. I see what I'm feeling. And so when I become aware, it's like, do I want this or do I want something better?
When was the last time that you felt your own humanity and you felt particularly human?
I think just being around family is the biggest. Just the joy of the relationships and just being together and sharing life. That has to be the biggest. The other is when and this happened just about a week ago, when I realized something, why did I respond that way? Well, what's going on? And as soon as I realized it, it's like, oh, well, of course I felt that way, but I want to change that.
Yeah. Yes.
It says car too full.
No. Does it really say that? Okay. Let's press pause real quick. Let me delete the file.
What happened?
It said car too full.
Oh.
When did it did it stop or did it record anything?
I don't know.
I mean, it was recorded earlier.
Okay, so we
I
got
just
four.
did a
Yeah, we got
picture
4.
with the camera.
Okay. Let me go in and delete one of these interviews. Need to delete
Sorry,
this,
I
guys. No. Let me delete this one. That should work now. So I think we got most of that. Did you tell me right on it?
We did because I literally just.
Well, I
took a
wanted to
picture
finish
with
while
that
she.
in frame
I
at the
wanted
moment.
her to finish talking.
Well, I'm glad you told me.
Probably
Amy.
the last question.
Yeah. So I'll say that again. When was the last time you felt particularly human? Felt your humanity?
Being with family today, this week, just the joy of being with everyone. There's nothing better.
Is there anything about this topic, you've heard me talk about it a lot today, you don't, maybe there's not, but is there anything that stood out to you today or hearing about this topic that you want to share that I didn't ask you?
I think one thing that's become such a big part of my life is to understand that God became human and taught us how to live.
You can do fist bump. That's it. You did great. How do you feel? No, that was
I don't
perfect.
know.
It was perfect.
Do you want me to stop?
Easy. Nope. Please don't touch.
Corny.
And can I turn this one on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dance on.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Look
Nope,
at you.
nope, not this one.
Look at
Not this one.
look at your nose. Right?
Okay. So red light's there. Okay, testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2.
Good. All right. So I'll talk to you and you'll look directly at me and you'll answer the questions. So right here. Good. What's your name?
Quiet.
What's your name?
Gary Parody.
You're looking at me, not the camera.
Gary Parody.
What year were you born? Oops.
I
Let's
was
start that
born
again. Let's start that again.
What's your name?
Gary Parody
And what year were you born?
in 1948.
And can you guarantee, that matter of fact, 100% God's honest truth, that you grew up in a home without the internet?
I certainly did.
And how do you feel about that?
Good and bad.
Tell me more.
Okay. Well, I think when we didn't have the internet, there were more real life experiences with friends, family, everyday activities and all. It was a lower paced, slower life, more time for relaxing and doing activities, I believe. And time to reflect and not such hustle and bustle as it is today.
Well, you said bad, you said good and bad. So what was the bad part of not having the internet?
Well, just a simple example, if you broke down, you didn't have a telephone to call somebody, but information, you had to go rely on someone else to find out how to fix something. All now I can go on the internet and learn how to do it. So the information, you can connect to someone quickly today, even though I have a hard time with it since the internet's immersed with so much fact and fiction. You never know what's true.
I was thinking with the war too, it would have been nice to have emails so you could have stayed in touch with Becky and your family.
That would have been nice, yes, but that would have been beautiful, yeah.
Question of the hour, if you're thinking about when someone says human, what do you think that means? What does it mean to be a human?
Well, first of all, I think I was created human by God to be on this earth so I could experience all the good things and the bad things that, are on friends, families, nature, environment. Be able to give what talents and gifts I have to help other people to experience emotions and fears, and to maybe to dive deeper into myself to learn more about myself.
Affairs?
My fears.
Oh, I thought you said affairs.
No,
Like, that's not
no, and what I could give to humanity. I always felt like I wanted to reach out, especially the youth, and to, because when I leave this earth, I would like to know that I did leave some kind of legacy that people could say, yeah, I remember that, or I remember this.
So to be a human means emotions? Is that
Emotions, yes, connection, all those things, yeah.
How do you know
How do I know what?
that that's what it means to be a human?
How do I know? Because I believe, I look at my Creator's, His love, His passion and all that, and I believe He wanted that to be, us to be in His image, to have those things towards other people, humans, nature, everything. The love and the compassion and the caring and the giving and the helping. I think that's a very important part of being human. Not to be self-centered, to be selfless.
When was the last time you felt particularly human?
Well, I really contemplated on that, and I would say when my full vulnerability came out was when I was on the Appalachian Trail. I had to deal with so many emotions, so many circumstances. I was immersed in solitude, sometimes not seeing people for days, and it just brought out everything that a human needs to survive in the world too. So it was really an experience that it still clouds my mind.
When did you do the Appalachian Trail? How old were you and how many miles?
I was 71 and I did about 2.5 months.
If you'll say, when I was 71, I did 2.5 months on the Appalachian Trail.
When I was 71, I did 2.5 months on the Appalachian Trail, about 650 miles.
Is there anything about this topic that I didn't ask you or you think is important that you want to share?
Yeah, I could say that as I got older, a lot of crazy bad things have fallen off me, and I'm trying to really see everybody in a beautiful light. I'm trying to see that. Trying to get rid of any prejudice, bias, anything that I've had in my life.
One last thing, is there anything you want future generations, your great-great-grandchildren watching this, what do you want them to know about being a human that maybe they didn't really, haven't been exposed to, or maybe if there are viewpoints that
I would, the greatest thing I could wish for my grandchildren is that they would have a compassion and love for nature around them and appreciate everything, no matter where they are, a bird, a tree, all nature. And to have that compassion and caring nature for people.
All right, we have a fist bump at the end, so you gotta fist bump me. We gotta make sure it's caught on camera. Boom. Here, let's